Welcome in, everybody, to Grand Finals Day. We have got a best of 5 here in front of us. Two teams that I'm really looking forward to seeing how they're going to play here, because Robert Yagi, I think, has surprised absolutely everybody, and Na'Vi coming in as the favorites, as expected, it feels like so early. What are your thoughts coming into this series?
Ooh, it's a tough one to say, right? So the only series I've cast Robert Yagi has been versus Endgame in the group stage on the very first day, and they got schooled in how to play Dota. And then I'm like following CCT here and there, looking at the matches, and they even lose versus Passion UA on the second day. Okay, sure. And then suddenly they start winning and winning and winning, and now they're in the grand finals. So I'm definitely surprised. I mean, I wouldn't have said that they were gonna be in the finals at the start of the tournament, but also to me, it's quite glad to see that the team has improved so much. Na'Vi, on the other hand, right, they came into the tournament from the playoff seed, and they've only lost one game so far, one map so far, and it was versus Rabotyagi. So this is the team, right, the only one that can beat them.
Yeah, this gives me hope that we might see at least, 4 games coming into this best of 5. We might even go to all 5 on this one as well. Just being able to see the run coming through here. And yeah, Robert Yagi, I've seen them twice so far. Once up against OG, once up against Apple City Gang. The OG match, they kind of made OG look like OG weren't coming in as that playoff seed team. It looked like they were coming in for the group stages, because Robert Yagi, first game going their way, it was a little bit of a long one, 46 minutes, and then the third game there was all 49 minutes, but they were able to slug it out. And OG, apart from that second game, and even in the second game, they never really looked like they were in full control of that series, in the game whatsoever. And Robert Yagi, it felt like every time they were given an opening, they just took it, they took the wins, they got themselves on the board, and then moving up against the Apple City Gang here, they did win it in 2. That first game, though, was a 73-minute slaughterfest between the two teams. Just looking at, we got a Tinker pick coming out, everybody was really depressed, but then the quality of the Dota that actually came through was absolutely amazing to watch. So
this is the best thing I've ever heard. We saw a Tinker pick, everybody's being depressed. Tinker is not that unfun any longer, but I get we all have PTSD from him.
Are you sure? Not that fun? He comes in as the position 5, right? Every single match I've seen him as a position 5, he's got position 2 gold net worth at like 25 minutes in, and that carries on. Like, it's not. It means people are going to pick this hero. Nobody wants to see this hero being picked. Anyway, looking at the Na'Vi roster, we've got Yuragi, Sanctity, Boom, Ari, and Kaori coming through. Again, this team coming into the playoff stage. So, you look at this team, like you say, they've only dropped one map. What do you think they're going to be doing in terms of approaching this series here to maybe try and close it out in a 3-0, not give anything up this time to Robert Yagi?
It's tough to say, right? I mean, on paper, that is a possibility to happen. I mean, the game that they did lose versus Rabotyagi was a 65-minute long game. So I think Na'Vi, they have a better grasp of, the basics of the game. And then Rabotyagi are still maybe a little bit unpolished. But when it comes to their senses, to their reflexes, that is where they could get the victory on a good day, right? So, yeah, I feel like if Na'Vi performs to the best of their ability in the early mid-game, that the normal parts of the game, that they might be able to just take 3-0, right? There is a chance that this is a 3-0 grand final. I would, if I needed to if I needed to make a prediction, say 3-1. I think that is the most likely outcome usually when we have a clear favorite in a series.
Yeah.
But overall, I'd say that for Navi, they do have the quality to win this one as fast as possible. They just need to play their game and not allow any small mistakes to enable Robotyagi. Let's put it that way. So I'm just thinking calm, cool, and collected Dota, the boring Dota for Navi, and they should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, that has been something that it seems like Rabbit Yagi are really good for, like you say, capitalizing on those mistakes, being able to, if someone's out of position, being able to find them, pick them off, then get another couple pick off, snowball from there, look towards the towers, take objectives. And yeah, Navi, to me, like you say, I don't want to say the boring Dota, but like you say, the defensive, you'll play it safe, not even safe, but just don't give up any silly mistakes. No silly deaths. Don't get caught out alone here. And yeah, I feel like the Robert Yagi, like you say, they've been the surprise of this event. So I'm looking forward to, again, hopefully seeing what they're going to be able to do today. Hopefully it's not going to be that one-sided affair coming through Navi, just run them over. Hopefully, both teams going to be able to put up a fight. We go back and forth. Going to be able to get a few games out of this one. Robert Yagi as well. A couple of picks out of the ordinary coming through. You're starting to see the OD a little bit more, seeing that Slardar being picked up a little bit more here as well. Is there anything else you're looking out for? Is there any specific heroes you want to see getting picked up in the series that you think might just be on the fringe of the meta, but it's time for them to get fully into the middle of the meta?
I mean, I don't know if it's on the sidelines of the meta or something, but for me, Medusa is like the hardest hero to deal with. I've seen multiple attempts at trying to deal with the Medusa. The only kind of successful one is the Darkseer, and Navi did beat the Robotyagi Medusa with the Darkseer. Granted, they did have a Terrorblade in that game, so it was like Darkseer galore overall. But for me, that Medusa, when I see it played properly with the team, you just cannot die. You do massive amounts of damage, you push. It's dumb, right? And for me, that's maybe a hero that I would, if I'm not 100% confident I can deal with it, and I don't know how you can be, we'll just get rid of it.
Yeah, it feels like every time I've seen that Medusa, like you say, it just does not die. It gets itself the Gleipnir, the Meteor Hammer, a Hex coming out there as well, and it's got like 3k mana. And it's like, well, how do you even get through this mana pool to get to its health? Maybe we need to see the return of the anti-mage. But the best part is as well, it's being played in the offlane. So that's not even your major worry. You have to worry about the mid lane and the carry coming through from the team. Meanwhile, the Medusa just gets to sit there, throw out the Gorgon's Grasp, throw out those Gleipnir lockdowns, and you're kind of like, well, shit, what do we have to do here to kind of beat this out? I genuinely, I don't think I've seen a match where it's lost so far.
Yeah, it does lose, but it's always a nuisance. Let's put it that way. But also, coming back to talking about Navi being this calm, cool, and collected team, they're not really, right? Maybe in this series where they're coming in as the heavy favorites, they should try to be as disciplined as they can. If 100% 3-0 victory is what you're gunning for, maybe you're looking to expand your strategies, understand your weaknesses as a team a bit more, go in where you're not 100% certain that you're going to be getting the wins, and it seems that we're gonna have to restart the lobby. Unfortunately, that's the case. But overall, when you look at the Navi's players, right, these aren't players that are known for being super passive, right? Especially I see Sanctity, right? I've followed this guy's career ever since the very start from Lilgun, and he is very, very volatile. He likes to move a lot. He's not Bob territory, right? Yeah. But he's very close, right? So Navi definitely do have players who can shine, but also sometimes when they're trying to shine a little bit too much overextend. So I feel like Robotyagi, that's going to be their opportunity to strike.
Yeah, I was talking with both Snur and Bowie about it as well, that, you're going to have This new team coming through. You look at the players on the team as well. You've got Uragi coming through from Ukraine. You've got Sanctity coming through from Mongolia. Boom, Ari, only Kyari and Uragi going to be from the same country, speaking that same language. It's a case of how are they even communicating as a team as well. And so far they've looked pretty good, but when they get under pressure, when the pain points start to come out, how well are they going to be able to do here? So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they play and get themselves through as a coordinated team. Go on.
I know you are from Britain and you feel like, oh, I know English, somebody out there knows some other language. We who are not from English-speaking countries, we had to learn English, right? Because it's the language used the most in the world. So I would assume that everybody in Na'Vi has at least a solid English foundation to communicate, or at least I hope so. I hope that it's not Uragi and Kaori speaking Russian or Ukrainian that in their lane and then whatnot happening around. But I have known teams in the past where you would have people of different nationalities, and during the laning stage they would communicate in their own languages, just so that you always know who you're talking to. It would it could create chaos, but when perfected, which I don't think anybody has ever done, it's nice, because it can happen that you're rotating through the twin gates to another lane and then you continue speaking in your native language because you got used to it. But I don't think that's going to be happening here in Na'Vi.
Well, I know that was Resolution and Zayats, when they were laying on Secret, that was the play. They'd speak in, and then Puppy would speak in a different language, and there'd be like 3 languages going on that one, like you say, so you can kind of like pass it out and just hear what you need, like the important part. But yeah, I'm just thinking that there should be a solid foundation there. I think Uragi, we know, he's been on English-speaking teams before. It's just that case of, like you say, that do you kind of play around that way? Are you going to be playing, like you say, in the you're going to play in Ukraine in the laning stage? But for me, it's just a case of not even the language thing. They are a new team together. It's that case of who is calling the shots. How are they going to be communicating? As a team, who's going to be calling it out? Is it going to be because I know Ari spent some time as captain on OG, and then do you move through to a core calling the shots when you get into later on into the game? I like to see how the teams. It's just nice to see what the inner workings of the team are. Obviously, we don't get the insight, we don't get to listen into them, which would be nice too. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how Na'Vi play around. And then on the other side, Robert Yagi. Are they going to be coming into this game with any pressure on them? Because they are the underdogs coming into this one. Are they just going to be, well, it's up to Na'Vi. If they don't perform, we get to capitalize and, they look like fools? Or, are they going to be sweating bullets a little bit here, Robert Yagi, coming into this series?
No. When you are coming in as the underdog, it's always... you don't feel the pressure, right? You can just fight, like I say, you fight like a young man, right? And that's the thing. Just go all in. Don't care about the consequences. If something breaks midway, it doesn't matter, right? It will heal. You can just go for the other one. And even if you lose, imagine Na'Vi loses. Of course, throughout the years, they definitely lost a big chunk of their fans, but it is still an organization that has a big following, right?
Yeah.
Rabotyagi, we lose, maybe there's that one fan who's like sad. He's not even mad at us. He's just sad that we lost. So that pressure is not on them. I feel like they can play at 100%. And considering they already took a game off of Na'Vi, I think they had something to hype themselves up for this series.
Yeah, and we see the draft coming through here. We're going to see the Banzai, the Slardar, the Tiny, the AA being taken out from the side of Na'Vi. On the other side, Tinker, TA, Nature's Prophet, and the PA all being taken out here by Rabbit Yagi. We see the Jakiro coming through, first pick here for Na'Vi. That Medusa is still on the board. The Warlock's still on the board here as well. We've got I'm trying to think, I've seen a couple of teams. Yeah, Beastmaster. I've seen first pick Terrorblades coming through. It's actually going to be the Warlock first pick here. So there is still a shopping list of really strong heroes that both teams can pick from, or could pick from, as we get through into this next band stage.
Yeah, I think the main reason, because so many of the big ones went through, is because of the Slardar. Even the TA has been now consistently being banned in a lot of the games that are being played, and those two heroes are now opening for these two supports, Jakiro and the Warlock, who are like top tier. Silencer is somewhere there close with him, AA as well, and Thinker is, above them all, but nobody allows that one to go through anyways. So yeah, we do have a ton of heroes who can make it into the second phase. Considering that Rabot Yagi do have the first pick in the second phase, Navi are really gonna have to think hard what you don't want to give up from those heroes. Monkey King is also one that you need to think about as well.
Yeah, the Monkey King, the Medusa that we were talking about a little bit before, they're all still going to be available here. They do ban out the Gyrocopter, so looking to deal with heroes that go well with a flat cannon. So I wonder if it's not really being banned out, it is being picked, but I wonder if Navi ban the Sven out here as well. Another hero that goes well with the Warlock, the cleave into the Fatal Bonds. You do a hell of a lot of damage in these fights, so maybe even the Darkseer to make sure you don't get vacuumed back into a Chaotic Offering. Go for the Tusk.
They'll get the Tusk out. I mean, I'm even though Dragonite isn't like the hottest thing in terms of win rate, he's still being picked a lot. I'd rather, if you're banning out another carry, it'd be a Dragonite than a Sven. Sven for me is still very easy to maneuver around, and you already have a Jakiro, right? So kiting potential is insane.
Yeah, that's one of the, if not the actual major issue that I've seen of the melee support, the melee carries even coming out. They actually play like supports, but yeah, the Ursa, the Sven coming through. When that BKB isn't active, there's just so many kiting tools. There's so much crowd control coming out now in Dota that it's so hard for them to stick on top of the enemy heroes. So they do kind of feel like last-ditch effort picks. To me, they're coming out, it's like, okay, these heroes are like the best of the rest because everything else good has been banned out.
Yep, you're spot on with that one, 100%. You mentioned the Ursa, he does get banned out there. It's a lot easier to play the Ursa early on when you have a Jakiro, right? Because that kiting doesn't really work that much because you are slowed down to a crawl. And then Jakiro is also good at taking down the early towers, which then opens up the map for the Ursa to dominate. So I'm actually okay with this ban, but it also is probably showing us that Rabot Yagi want to get, your Tide Hunters, Underlord not really in the meta, but heroes like that are gonna be what they want to get for sure in their offlane.
Yeah, and Rabot Yagi gonna go for the Muerta here, so we might be seeing something like the Magnus, the other one that we've not really talked about here as well, could come out great in the offlane with the Muerta, the skewer back into the Deadshot, or the other way around, Deadshot into the skewer. You get your enemies underneath that tier 1 tower. I've seen so many kills in a lane like that, and yeah, really comfortable hero to be picking up. It's one of those heroes, again, can go for that semi-core role if the game goes long enough, pumps out a hell of a lot of damage with that ultimate going into the mid to late game. So we'll see what Navi gonna respond with. I know Ari likes that hero as well, so gonna know exactly how this hero plays, maybe what they want to pick up against it. But yeah, Navi, again, Magnus, Medusa coming out. We've still got the power spikes of those two heroes here, so good crowd control as well in these fights. We'll see what they want to go for here, Navi, in these next couple picks.
For a core now, probably that is flexible between two positions. So Dragonite, Pango, those are the ways to go. Unless there is something like a Darkseer that you mentioned that you really do see as a pick that you want to go for. I would go for something like these two. Sand King also works well in those situations. Beastmaster, I could understand to pick it now, even if you are certain you're going to put it in the offlane, but it is another somewhat of a flexible pick in the meta. So they do have options. It's going to be one or the other, and then position 4 is whatever Ari wants to play, be it a Ringmaster or something else.
Okay, well,
Coddle.
Can we flex, though? I don't see a lot of Keeper Light mid anymore, It does feel like we're only seeing this as a support role. So, yeah, we've got potentially the two supports coming out. Going to see what the offlane's going to be as well. The Magnus, you were talking about that flex, the Magnus between the 2 and the 3 can come out here. And maybe a deny pick up against Rabot Yagi, like say, maybe wanting that for their offlane.
Yeah, I guess so. Though last time they played this, it was an offlane Magnus. I'm out of all the Magnuses that you can play in the C patch, I'm the biggest fan of the offlane one. Ever since they nerfed the self-empower, it doesn't feel the same on the safe lane. On the mid lane, you're still fine. But as soon as I see a Coddle, then the Magnus laning with him does make sense. But if you see a problem in the lane, which Magnus generally doesn't have, but if you see a big problem for him in the lane, you can move him somewhere else.
On this side, Robert Yagi gonna go for the Tidehunter. I'm so glad this hero's back. You know, I know a lot of people don't like this. They think it's kind of like a really boring basic hero, but just being able to watch what the Tide does, you know, being able to get around, you know, trying to play around now with the control of the Ravage as well as the dead in the water, and then just being like this kind of unstoppable. Well, it's not a Juggernaut because Juggernaut himself is very, very stoppable in the current meta. But you know, you get that the Krillita facet, you get yourself up to level, you know, around level 17, 18, and you just walk at people, and they kind of have to give up a little bit of space, or they have to use their BKBs, or they have to, you know, because you know if this Titan's coming at you, there's going to be a whole lot of hurt right behind him, and Storm Spirit coming out now as well. So another good control hero, good backline dive, can get on top of the Jakiro, keep the light, make quick work of them in these team fights.
Are we gonna see a puck now? I mean, Sanctity is a big puck player, and if you look at the side of Rabotyagi, they kind of suck at dealing with the puck. Muerta is the only hero that is somewhat decent at doing so, and puck would be amazing here. I mean, I had some ideas of a Slark, maybe a Doom as a carry, having a Magnus to buff you up. All of it makes sense, but now with the Storm Spirit pick, they go Ember. Okay, this is similar. The problem I have with an Ember is that laning stage wise, he can suffer versus the Storm. Doesn't happen always, but it can happen and can be a problem.
Yeah, the past couple Ember Storms I've seen with the static slide now coming out from the Storm Spirit with that Remnant, I've never seen an Ember Spirit win the lane in the mid lane. Oh, I've never seen him go better than slightly even in the lane. You know, it always feels like it's a Storm Spirit favor because you still have to come up, you still have to right click, you still have to be in that melee range. And yeah, it does feel like, I mean, maybe they have a plan for it, but it does feel pretty rough here, this Ember Spirit. But I guess they can be secure in picking it up, knowing that maybe it's only a slight disadvantage. They know there's no Huskar coming out. You know, they know there's no big lane winner coming out here up against the Ember Spirit. Now the Storm Spirit's been picked up.
So they're gonna ban out the Morphling. I guess that's fine, but Rabotyagi, I remember when you mentioned your Sven and stuff, I would feel like this could be a good Sven game overall, right? It's definitely not bad. Have a little bit of an extra stun, a little bit of burst. That is, I think, what you're generally gunning for here as Rabotyagi.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll see if it makes it through here, what they want to be banning out. So they take away the Ursa, the Terrorblade here. Got that final ban on the board, looking for a carry of their own to ban out. So yeah, both teams looking like they are going to be taken, unless we're going to see something fancy. You know, we saw it, Mancontrol did it. You know, we've seen it a couple times before. You know, that Tidehunter carry coming out here, which I'm not expecting. But, you know, they could twist that way. But, yeah, Robert Yagi as well as Na'Vi both looking for carries, it feels like. Is there anything that fits in for the Na'Vi lineup? Do you think is there anything incredibly strong? They actually ban out the Beastmaster, so maybe thinking this might be the Magnus carry here for Na'Vi.
I mean, Na'Vi have played a couple of these, let's say, weird carries. They don't feel that way nowadays, but if you know, you're me, been casting Dota forever and playing Dota for 20 years or whatnot, so Beastmaster carry doesn't feel too good. A Doom carry for Na'Vi wouldn't be super surprising. I'd be fine with that. I think they've already played it, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just check. Yeah, they did play a Doom carry versus Zero Tenacity 1 in 34 minutes. You know, something like that could work. And also a Slark, right? It is Yuragi. Slark versus the Tidehunter. Looking at this for heroes, they don't do anything to a Slark. And out of the carries that are left, I don't think any of them are like particularly good versus the Slark. But yeah, there's the Doom.
Yeah, there you go. Right on the money there. And if you're looking at this, you know, I think it's the Devil's Bargain that I see coming out most times for the carry Doom. But what's the actual build up here? Is it just the same as the offlane Doom, you know, just a little bit quicker, or is it different items you think Yuragi here needs to pick up?
I mean, first of all, it might be a Doom offlane and the carry Magnus, right? True. It's still the case. But if it is a carry Doom, I've seen the Echo Saber. I can't say that I love the build, but actually with the Magnus to buff you up, I think I've seen this duo particular, and the Doom damage output was insane in the later portions of the game.
Yeah, it's kind of a case of who needs a Sven when we've got the Sven at home, right? You're the Walmart Sven, I guess you call it here. Like you say, buffed up with that cleave, the Echo Saber coming through. Wraith King, I have seen this once or twice over the past few days, you know, being played both in the offlane as well as the carry. So, yeah, Snowy actually going to go with the Wraith King. And do you think that's going to be enough here? The second life, are you liking this pickup here for Rabbit Yagi? You think it's going to be enough to do work in this first matchup?
Quite solid, right? one of the main reasons that I think it is starting to gain traction is because there isn't a lot of carries that can shove out the waves without much commitment.
Yeah.
Rating is one of them, right? So one of the reasons that he is coming back into the meta, on top of other things, right? We're not gonna cover all of them. But one good thing is that it is a blink hero. It follows the tide, it follows the storm, it plays without fear. And you know, if you would go for like a Sven in this game, you would have to wait for somebody to go in and create chaos. Now your carry goes in and creates chaos while the Tidehunter and the Storm are waiting on the sidelines for the perfect jump. So I can definitely get behind this pickup here for Abakyagi.
Okay. And looking at the two lineups, all 5 heroes on the board for each team. Who are you favoring going into this first map? Yo, who's scratching that itch going for the first win here, Perry? Who do you think's gonna be able to lock it down in this first game and set the tone?
I think I'm gonna go for Navi.
Okay.
I think they have a little bit better of a chance of enabling their mid laner. And to be honest, both of the mid laners here do have relatively free games. With, of course, Ember can get caught by the calling, right? And the Storm Spirit can make a mistake and go into the Ice Path. And then that would be a setup for any kind of follow-up. But later on down the line, Sleight of Fist chains into a Storm is a much better catch than Robotyagi have for the Ember Spirit. And then if you look at the supports of Navi, they have better ways of, even the cores, the Empower of the Ember is still pretty solid. You have the Coddle to just make sure that he's spamming those spells all the time. And then you have all of the follow-up spells from the Jakiro on top of your chains. So Storm doesn't have that kind of a help from his supports in general. So I think from the mid lane it might come to that, but it is a hard thing to say, right? Rating good versus the Doom good versus the Tidehunter. There could be some unfortunate events for both teams in some team fights.
Yeah, to me it feels like whoever gets the initiation, you know, whoever's going to be that player that gets the first jump in, whoever gets on top of that, it feels like you say, the fight triangle going around. It's just a case of who gets that jump. If they find the right target, they're going to be the ones that win that fight once everyone gets the utility, you know, gets those spells up. Looking at it, I think I do like Navi. You know, I've got to back my boy Ari here as well. I can't be going against the last hope of UK Dota, but Robert Yagi, they've been putting up some good fights. They've been playing some games and winning some games that I don't think anyone expected them to win. That I know. You know, I think everybody coming into the OG series, they were thinking, oh, OG, they're a playoff team, you know, they're going to be taking that. And like I say, Robert Yagi made it look like OG were the one coming through groups, and they were the team being invited into the event because they're just so damn good. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to play, how these both teams, how they're going to try and approach this one, and how they're going to be able to play it out. There's a little bit of drawing on the map, you know, as we wait for this pause. Hopefully not too long as we wait for Yuragi to get in.
Alone. Are they shouting out alone, the player, or do they feel alone in this world? I hope it's the first thing, because nobody should feel alone, Rob. Yeah, I feel like both you and me have some bias towards Navi. I mean, of course, as a team that we all watched as kids, but Milan is their coach. He is my countryman. Ari, your countryman. We don't have too many of people from our country left competing. I guess I have a little bit more now, but that is it is not a huge number still.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else than Ari that is competing?
No, it's like Highlander rules. There can only ever be one UK Dota player at a time. You know, we had Tanner before that. We've had like Ryan before that. You know, Biza there as well. But yeah, there's only ever one like high-level UK Dota player, and I'm pretty sure it is Highlander rules. You have to decapitate the other with a sword first before you're allowed to enter in to the pro level as a UK Dota player.
Whenever somebody mentions Tanner, I still remember a pub from a lot of years back now. One very prominent professional player nowadays got into a very heated argument with Tanner, and it was very fun and very personal there, but
yeah, you're never going to win a yap off with a UK player. That's kind of like, you know, we might not be very good at actually playing the game, but if you're going to try and shit talk us, we're going to be, you know, we're like top 5 in every single game for that.
No, Tanner was the one being being flamed there. So
Oh,
it's,
really?
yeah. He was actually being nice.
Okay, he was keeping that power level hidden. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's that's my last memory of him. Unfortunately, right? It's not a TI victory or something, but yeah, I guess Ari still could get it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the thing as well, that you look at the level that teams are playing at the minute. You know, when you look at I know people have different definitions, different distinctions on teams like tier 1, 1.5, or tier 1, tier 2. I do think, apart from maybe 2 or 3 teams, the gap between tier 1 tier 2, it's shortened down so much here that, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see Navi making it to events, you know, being able to get themselves through past some qualifiers, building themselves up in the groups. And again, other teams like this now as well. There's just so many European teams. Like Capybara's coming into it now. Mouse are going to have a team coming through, announcing themselves in the next few days. You know,
Endgame.
Yeah, Endgame going to be there now as well. I know that, you know, you look at the amount of teams, like, we need a second set of events going on, because there's just so many teams in Europe that are trying to make it to these big lands.
Yeah, and then you don't see them, right? Teams like Secret never making it to lands, and they're solid. They're not bad, right? In a LAN environment, they can most definitely get some victories. But with that being said, let's see who's gonna be getting the victory here, Rob. This is the last one. 8 tournaments were announced, and now we're in the last one, in the grand finals. It is the end of a saga here in the Champions of Champions, and you know, winning the first one and the last one probably like feels the best out of them all.
Yeah, I think this is my first grand finals as well. I think I've always like not been available for grand finals, so I've always done like semi-finals, you know, the build up to it now as well. But it feels really nice to be into the grand finals, to see who's actually going to take it all here. Boom on the bottom lane, going to be taking a lot of damage. Isn't the fatal bonds coming through as well? Shouldn't be enough to get the kill onto Boom unless he steps himself back up. Shockwave coming out from Boom here, but Snowy just wants to carry on getting the farm out, and Boom is being pushed right back in this lane. Look at the damage out onto him. He just cannot stand into this one. And yeah, we'll see if he does try and get cheeky, try and press up, because he's not skilled anything up just yet. So if he needs to, he can go for that panic button on the skewer. But it feels like for now, he's just waiting for the lane to push into him.
Dude, this Warlock, like, always used to be regarded as he's a defensive hero. He can heal his carry. Nowadays, offlaners, the way I'm seeing our position 5 that I'm seeing them die to the most is Crystal Maiden. Second in a row is the Warlock. Like, it's just dumb. I've seen so many Bristlebacks, a Bristleback, man, a freaking Bristleback die to a Warlock over and over again. It just, people are still underestimating the damage of the Fatal Bonds, and at some point it has to stop.
Yeah, I think the other hero that looks incredibly scary, actually not doing a whole lot in this match, though. Denson is going to be engaged on now as well. Can they get on top of here? The Mortar in the top lane. It looks like a lot of damage coming through, not enough to get the kill, but to me, the other one is the Jakiro. You know, I saw an Underlord the other day. I think it was about 5 or 6 minutes into the game. He had 15 last hits because he was just being zoned out. An Underlord, you're one of the tankiest heroes in the game, just being zoned out completely because of this dual breath, because of the liquid ice, liquid fire, doing so much work against him in the lane.
And I've even started seeing heroes going for the Twin Terror.
Yeah.
The amount of damage the poor offlaners take is insane. You know, it came after the a little bit of a nerf to this double ice path facet, but people are still now reverting back to that one as well. And I think versus a Storm Spirit.
Is he going to get low? There's going to be the Vortex coming out now as well. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of damage. And with that static slide coming out, Morel going to be able to pick up the first blood, and Sanctity will go down. This is what I was talking about, man. You just cannot stand in that lane up against, you know, it's not as bad as a Huskar lane, but if you are right up close and Morel's there as well, you're just going to be affected by the static remnant every single time.
This still shouldn't happen. It still shouldn't be a solo kill, right? So Sanctity definitely making a mistake there. It's 10 a.m., right? Players maybe haven't woken up properly, haven't played that initial game, but this is one of those things that can lose you the game. Like, I'm not even kidding. A solo kill in the mid lane, it makes it hard for the entire team.
Level 5, though, they're going to try and make a move onto Morel because there's going to be the Keeper Light being here, but that blast is going to be off the mark coming through. Can they get on top? Wasn't waiting. Is there even a point? There is 2 points to the Searing Chains, but didn't go for the Sleight of Fist Searing Chains to try and blast out onto Morel. Maybe just looking to secure these runes here, but the other one, the Water Rune goes away of Denton, so there is only going to be one left. Yeah, and Storm Spirit, he's got no charges on his bottle here, so Spirit, it's going to be so confusing. Spirit, Spirit, and Spirit in this game. You know, such an... And you know what would be even worse? If they were playing Team Spirit. Love this name here for the Tidehunter. Doesn't make it confusing at all.
No. He's making our life easy. We only have to know one word to cast Dota.
Denton going to be chased out once again by Kaori. Look at the damage coming through here, Kaori. 1 Dual Breath, 1 Liquid Fire, and Denton's down to about 1/3 of his health, being pushed right back. And Spirit, I mean, he's still getting comfortable. He's still getting cocky here that he can find the farm. And he is finding that farm. 21 last hits here to Yuragi's only 20 on the Doom so far. No points in that Devour yet as well for Yuragi.
Yeah, he doesn't have it just yet. We see it from time to time on level 4 just to get a nice creep. I've seen carry Dooms favor the speed aura just to be able to maneuver a little bit faster around the map, and then later on down the line get something different. But I'm very curious to know which item Yuragi is going to be getting after a Midas. Is it going to be a Radiance or the Echo Saber? But overall, most of the times when I've seen a Midas, it has been a Radiance build-up.
Yeah, and I kind of get that. You know, if you're going to be going toe-to-toe here with the Wraith King in these fights, you know, the extra miss chance is going to be really nice. You may be forcing it into an MKB, dealing with the skeleton armies that get summoned as well in the middle of these fights. So, yeah, I would like to see, I mean, the Scorched Earth Radiance burn down. You can run down heroes and kill them off without even needing to right-click them, and they just melt to the pressure that you put out.
Speaking of the Wraith King, he's really annoying, that Magnus, but overall, I feel like Wraith King is not going to be going for an MKB even versus the Radiance. But even if there's no Radiance, Bloodthorn is something that you want, right? Wraith King is just one of those heroes who benefits from the Bloodthorn so much. So it is your late game item, but definitely something that you do get more often than not.
Yeah, Boom going to be forced away again here. The Shadow Warp coming out of the Fatal Bond, so he is going to still take a lot of damage, even under his tier 1 tower. And yeah, like you say, look at the damage coming through from this Fatal Bond here. He was about half health as he skewered himself away, and all of a sudden whittled down to just around 100. Got to be careful, though, because the step-up Astegore, they could look for a kill. His spells on cooldown, well, the Shadow Warp is going to be here, so Boom needs to be very, very careful about playing around this one. I'm going to stick to his tower, get as much health back as possible here, make sure he doesn't tick down. Snowy takes a blast to the face. No, he doesn't care. Look at this one. It's going to be coming in. The Wraith Fire Blast pushes him down to the low ground. Ari trying to get himself out, but there's going to be the rotation from Denton. Deadshot comes through here. Ari taking a hell of a lot of damage himself. And this is going to be
Shrine.
Shrine, being given up on the other side. It looks like Yuragi going to try and make a push towards Spirit, and he is only level 5, so there's no Doom to come out, but he can contest one on the TP coming in from the... I think they're going to be able to get both on the side of Robert Yagi now. No, Denton going to be pushed away, but he does already get the Shrine here. So yeah, both going the way of Robert Yagi. Now the pullback, he's caught out on that land bridge, can't run himself away from this one, gives up his life, but well worth it to get both of those Wisdom Shrines.
Yeah, for sure. It feels very, very good to do it. Support's dying. It is kind of a bummer. That means that the supports of Navi are also going to be getting some decent experience, but overall, Robot Yagi are going to be very happy with the first 7.5 minutes of this game.
Yeah, and keeping it to a low-scoring game as well. I really like this for Robert Yagi. Like I say, coming in as the underdogs, that they're not letting the spectacle get to them. They're not feeling like they are under pressure. They're keeping it low. They're not giving Navi any gaps. Even though Navi have one more kill than them, 2 kills in 8 minutes, not really the big boost up you're thinking that, Navi really going to be trying to run away with this game with.
Yeah, you don't want to allow that to happen. And you did shut down the most important playmaker, being the Ember Spirit. So until the Magnus gets his Blink Dagger, you're going to be kind of safe. I mean, with the help of the Coddle, the Ember is, even now at level 7, very, very dangerous. But it is very nice to know that your Storm Spirit is definitely doing better than him. It will give you an extra little bit of confidence too, if you see an opening, go in.
Yeah. How do you like the Morel going for the Soaring here as well? Not something you see the Stone Spirit go for a whole lot, but it's what he's chose to pick up here as his second smallish item this game.
What? Wait. What? Soul Ring?
Soaring on Storm Spirit.
Yeah, you always now get it. It just has become a staple. People now go for it. It's just, you know, Soul Ring wasn't picked up in a couple of years because the Soul Ring just wasn't all that good. And then, but it was always a Storm Spirit item, right? So ever since it got added to Dota, everybody on Storm Spirit would have gone for it.
Yeah, just because the big build that I'm seeing is the bottle boots straight into the Kaya. That's what I've seen most over the past few days here for the Storm Spirit. So, it just caught me off a little bit off guard, this Soren coming up with the Storm.
He might go for the Witchblade because of this, right? That is the build-up. Sometimes people do rush the Kaya, but I think that is when... I see Kaya rushes when the Storms aren't really having a great time, or when they're having a bad time. But when they're having a decent game, Soul Ring, Witchblade is a really nice killing opportunity. And then when you look at it, Coddle is such an easy hero to bring down if you have a Witchblade. With the Kaya, not so much.
Yeah. And overall, it looks like, I mean, there's a little bit of pressure being put out, but the Storm Spirit looking for it here. Does he have the mana to make a jump happen? It's not a lot of mana left. Even with that Soul Ring here, would be on the very edge of the mana that he could utilize. And looks like it's going to be Ice Path coming out. Level 8, though. Do they have the lockdown? Searing Chains comes in. Astigore is here. Only going to be level 5 on him, but the ball line and away. Morel will still be safe in that Shadow Word. Going to boost him up just a little bit here, but it will be the rune going away as Sanctity. Going to have that shield rune here for the Ember Spirit. And Ember Spirit, I mean, look at the net worth. It's not a massive gap. We only 10 minutes into it. It's only 400 gold behind, but 400 gold 10 minutes in can make a massive difference on the amount of potential you have in terms of killing out your final heroes, killing them off. And yeah, so far, it feels like, let's say, Na'Vi just being kept a little bit quiet here by Robert Yagi.
True, but there we saw in a little skirmish, how Na'Vi supports complement the Ember Spirit, whereas the Robot Yagi supports don't really complement the Storm. I mean, if the Warlock wasn't healing the Storm, the outcome would still be the same. But if there was no Jakiro and the Coddle to buff up the damage output of the Ember Spirit, that Storm Spirit could go ham. So I'm a little bit scared here for Robot Yagi, because this Ember, despite losing the lane, is in problem now. Doom onto the tide on the top lane.
Good dead shot, though. Forces Sanctity back here. He's going to be able to get himself in with the Remnant. Can they get this Tyrant away, though? Tyrant, he's a really big tanky boy in that Doom. It will be wearing off, and now is he prime place for the Ravage. So Spirit has that Shadow Word for the heals coming out. Again, look at the amount of health he's getting back here, Tyrant. That was a full duration Doom. It was 3-4 heroes making a rotation, and I think the dead shot, it keeps Spirit alive there. Do they want to go for any more? Mirel's going to be able to get the kill onto Boom in the bottom lane here, but it looks like 3-on-3 in this top lane. What can they do with this one? It's going to be 3-on-4 actually if the Doom wants to come back into this lane. Spent his big spell. Rotation behind here. The Ember Spirit has that the shield rune coming through, but won't be able to catch anybody out. And yeah, they're going to be able to walk themselves away on both sides. The Doom being used, and it is going to be the Magnus going down on this bottom lane. And that's the only victim we have in this fight.
Yeah, the nice catch there from Morel, finding an opening to go from, and they left Ari alone. This is quite dangerous.
Can he get himself away? The blinding light comes out, but yeah, he looks like he is going to be fine. Sanctity, though, in the mid lane, will be able to get the kill. Rotation through on Astigore, and Astigore just being caught out a little bit out of position. No mana left there as well.
Yeah, an easy grab. Na'Vi, they're really spreading out the map, and it's working solid well for them. The only, mistake that they made thinking that he can kill the Tidehunter, I feel like this hero, for the majority of the game, they should just ignore him. Don't care about him. Maybe if you skewer him back, you can kill him, but generally, doom him and then kill everybody else.
Yeah, that looks like what they might be trying to do here. They're going to be able to get the kill into the Mortar. The Colin did come down first, though, so Jakiro gets caught out, and Spirit will get it with a Gush. Can they go for any more here? Ari is still trying to play around this one. Sanctity close now as well. Has the Searing Chain, Slatted Fist, a Remnant if he needs it to jump away too. But it looks like with the help of Ari, you're going to be able to put some pressure. Well, I say some. Spirit's just going to be able to walk up, get the Yank Smash off. Yeah, there's going to be no creeps here onto this Tier 1 tower. But Mag, yeah, trying to come into this one. Spirit, again, big tanky boy here, though. What are they really going to be able to do into this mid lane? Looks like not a whole lot.
The idea is to pressure the tower, right? Ember Spirits want to take the tower down. You know that the enemies have very low chances of bringing you from 100 to 0 until the Tidehunter has the Blink Dagger. So you get that mid lane tower down, and then you just posture aggressively in front of the tier 2 and give all of the info to you. So that is the goal, and they should be able to do it, especially with the Jakiro on their team.
Yeah, it looks like the fortification going to be forced out here for the side of Robert Yagi. And then, like I say, yeah, Jakiro, 4 heroes around onto this one. No defense coming through just yet for the side of Robert Yagi, so they will let that tower go down. Tidehunter went for the Mage Slayer first, going to go back for the Blink, so that's not going to be his initiation tool for a while. Storm Spirit wasn't looking for a jump in there either, so yeah, like you say, I'm going to be able to get this tier 1 tower and then maybe open up a little bit more. You already see the rotation here for Kaori into this jungle, into the river spot in the jungle, looking to get these wards down, looking to maybe spot out onto the Wraith King. Oh, jump in. Storm, gonna be able to get on top of him here. Yeah, there's going to be the damage coming through here from Morel, but again, the Searing Chain's going to be able to get the lockdown. He's got a lot of mana left here, so not going to be killed off onto the Storm Spirit, but Sanctity is hunting. Can he get anything from this one? Astigo has to run himself away. He's going to have that Flame Guard come through. The Searing Chain's burning him down here. It's enough damage. Sanctity, he's going to be able to get the kill, but is he going to give up his life here? Kaori is close, looking for the defense. Morel, with this, like you say, he's got the rune. He had a full bottle there as well, so won't go down himself, but won't be able to get a revenge kill out on the side of Na'Vi.
We are seeing the main issue. No ways to deal with an Ember, and so many ways to buff the Ember on the other side. So Rabutyagi, they really have to be working towards those Blink Daggers. I think until you have the Blink on the Tide and Blink on the Wraith King, just ignore the Ember. Let him do whatever he wants in the mid lane and go and fight around the Tide, go and fight around the Wraith King. That is your only play. I'd say that Rabutyagi are happy that Na'Vi didn't get like 5 extra kills there in the they're in the mid lane right now.
Yeah, and who do you then look to? Are you looking to put the pressure onto, if you're looking to group out, do you want to put it onto the Magnus? Do you put it onto the Doom? Because even the Magnus here, Boom, he is going to be the lowest of the cores in terms of net worth, but he's not too far behind anybody here. Astigo to be able to get that D ward. Oh, no, he actually doesn't. He gives it up. Not sure what else is behind here. So he's going to just back himself away. Astigo doesn't want to be giving up any silly kills.
I think it doesn't necessarily matter who you're going to be putting the pressure on, because you just want to kill a hero, get them off the map, dissuade Na'Vi from doing what they're doing, and that is poking at you. Because what's happening right now is that Rabutyagi are not using their spells. They're not using the full potential of their team, whilst Na'Vi are. Right? And sure, Rabutyagi are getting a decent amount of farm, but you're going to be losing towers, you're going to be losing map control, you are going to be losing an idea of how your enemies are moving around, and then they're gonna force you to use your spells on the defensive, and then you're gonna be in trouble. Yes, they are ahead, but I would really like Rabutyagi to be a little bit proactive. Now, they're probably gonna be getting a little bit of a push towards that, because they've got a Blink on the Tidehunter and the Radiance on the Wraith King. So really, it is go time to pressure around. I would assume around the side lanes. That would be where I'd start, and then maybe transition slowly towards the mid lane to get that tower.
Yeah, they're going to pull Yuragi in here. Everybody wants to get on top of this Tormentor for the side of Na'Vi, and they're not going to know. They're going to have to wait for the full rotation and make sure nobody's coming through that twin gate yet. But all 5 heroes here from the side of Na'Vi on top of that Tormentor are going to be able to do a lot of damage very quickly as a 5-man, and there's going to be no counter-strike coming through from the side of Rabbit Yagi. We'll see where they want to try and go from this one. Like I say, that now Yuragi is down here, has that TP if he wants to get himself back to the top lane, but it feels like for now, he's just going to be farming up. He knows his team's around him. This is the safest place for him to be, and Rabbit Yagi actually looking towards that mid lane tier 1 tower, so they are finally going to be able to get that one down. Already took that top tier 1 tower now as well, but who is going to be the aggressor from this one? Kaori is going to be TPing in, but none of the cores. While Sanctity is on that top lane, we'll see, because Rabbit Yagi are still grouped up. Do they want to try and make something happen from this one? Blink Dagger is out now for the Tide, so we'll see if they're going to try and initiate, try and take anyone on the side of Na'Vi down. Oh.
Now that the Tormentor was taken, if I was Rabutyagi, I'd even use the Ravage on a support. Just get somebody off the map, because Na'Vi aren't that good at killing the Roche, right? And that would be retaliation for Ravage is down or the Golem is down. So just use them and get something out of these spells.
Yeah. Jakiro was the one to get the shot as well, just to know. So he's going to have the Liquid Frost and the Liquid Fire. Pretty much on the same cast. Well, not on the same cast, but, one after the other if he wants those. Looking through as well. What's the Warlock? The Warlock still hasn't used that Black Grimoire, which...
He has one. He has one of them, yeah.
It does make sense to me. Usually, I'm surprised we didn't see the Warlock rotating through your Twin Gates looking for... Because that seems to be the game plan for me, for most Warlocks, that you want to pick up these early charges, so you get the level 6 out pretty much at the same time your carry's getting it out, so you can hit them with the double whammy ultimates.
Yeah, that's... I also would have wanted now... He does have his... golem for a long time, and it's being very conservative with it. You know how
Yeah.
Kidaro plays with the warlock? He sees an opening, he drops it down. But yeah, then then Rabotyagi can say, yeah, that's why we beat Kidaro, right? And then got him out of the tournament. This is how you play the warlock. You save your ulti. But yeah, I would like it to be utilized a little bit more. Not a single golem drop 19 minutes into the game for me is a problem.
Yeah, and I know I've been talking about Rabotyagi slowing down the game, but it feels like they've slowed it down a little bit too much. You know, they've not hit their pace, they've not hit their stride. And it is, like you said, just allowing Na'Vi, even if they're not finding kills here, that because of how Rabotyagi playing defensively, they're not giving up any map control. You know, they're still finding the farm, they're still getting all the items they want out of this one. We might see the engage coming out through now. Yeah, Tide, if he has the vision in a blink, there was 3 heroes grouped up, but I don't think with the nighttime vision he was able to see them. So not going to go for that blink jump in, won't be able to get the catch out. That would have been an amazing ravage to start the fights, but Na'Vi, they sense the danger. Those spidey senses are tingling now.
They're under enemy vision.
Yeah, Kaori going to be jumped on. Do they have enough damage to get the kill off onto this one? Kaori, he will go down. Going to be that canary in the coal mines to give the warning out to the rest of Na'Vi, though.
They still have that ward in the triangle, so they know what's up, and they can go for more.
Yeah, we'll see. They are grouped up. Like I said, they still have all of the big spells here. Spirit going to be spotted up by the creep wave, so it just stops to farm that one up.
Wraith King leaving the skeletons in the bottom lane, now going towards top. Na'Vi are going to have to spread out to deal with the waves or get together and run towards Rabotyagi to be able to get to those waves safely. This is now a dangerous territory for Na'Vi, where they're definitely... It seems that they're choosing to spread around. So let's see what Rabotyagi and how Rabotyagi respond to this.
Yeah, they are going to be a ways away, though, from every single lane. And Kaori on the bottom lane on his own. They don't have any vision on the Rabotyagi heroes here, but it looks like, again, just going to go back grouped up. And what are they going to look for this one? The Radiance did come out for the Wraith King. It looks like it was the Echo Saber for the Doom as well, just to mention that. Into the BKB here for the Doom. They might be able to... Well, they're going to see the Wraith King army onto the lane. They're grouped up now on the side of Na'Vi. What can they do with this? Are they going to be able to find the Wraith King out? He is back to his side of the map. And again, both teams just playing very conservatively here, coming in with no vision at the enemy. We've seen now Na'Vi going to be seen in that triangle, like you were saying. But yeah, both teams not really making a move. Maybe... I mean, this is a best of 5. You can play around in the first, second game. You'll get aggressive, get brave, but both teams, they don't want to give up an inch here to their opponents.
No, they woke up this morning and they chose peace. No war, no death. It's just we don't want to fight, guys. Let's be friends. And at some point, you know, life will force you to fight, but at least you did your best to keep it in for quite some time. And there it is, Rabotyagi going for a smoke. This really is the timing for them. They've got everything that you would ever want.
Yeah, and coming out on the Curry here now as well. It's going to be the Yasha for the Wraith King as well. So going to have that like extra little bit of boost upon the attack speed. I'm hearing a BKB coming out now as well. Boom, though. The RP going to be dropped if you have the control. Ow! They're going to be able to get a lot of damage coming through as well as that Doom. It looks like they actually get the counter initiation coming through. They're going to be able to get the kill onto the 2 supports now as well. Chase down coming through. Can the Titan to get himself away from their own team? Team Spirit. Spirit himself going to be very, very low on this one. The chase in the blink. Do they have the control? Anchor Smash comes out here. Waiting on those Searing Chains of Slider Fist coming out. Spirit, though, he's a big tanky boy. Shockwave going to be the skewer to catch up to him in Spirit. Is he finally going to go down? He will. Hiragi gets the kill out onto Spirit. Great counter initiation coming through. That BKB time absolutely perfect here. And they're going to be able to take down 3. Don't lose anyone on the side of Na'Vi.
This should be a little bit of a learning experience for Rabotyagi. You've had your ultis for 12, 13, 15 minutes now. You didn't use them a single time. The items from Na'Vi will come out that will help them deal with those ultis. The Tidehunter didn't get his Ravage off, but even if he had, it wouldn't have changed anything. It would be even worse for them. So you drop the Golem, there's absolutely nothing. They doom your Tidehunter, and they overtake the fight completely now, taking down the Roche. This is a huge victory for Na'Vi.
Yeah, and I mean, it's still only... Oh, the dead shot coming through here. They're jumping with the ice path. They're going to be able to get the Aegis. Do they want to try and fight this one out on the side of Rabotyagi? They're going to try and get the chase. Maybe get a pick off here. Whoever's going to be left behind. Looks like it's going to be Ari. Ari with the blinding light. Going to waste a little bit of time for his teammates to get away here, but Ari will go down. Snowy picks up that kill. A consolation prize coming out for the side of Rabotyagi, but that's absolutely not what they wanted. They wanted a full team. They wanted that Roshan themselves, and they have to settle for a support kill.
The waves are still in a good position for them, so...
Yeah.
If it comes down to making aggressive plays, they most definitely can do it. But you need to do it now. because Navi with their Aegis, it is gonna be easier for them to feel confident to shove out the waves. And once that does happen, and they're on the aggressive with this Aegis, fighting for Rabbit Yagi is gonna become harder. So I'm liking that they're in aggressive position, but it seems that they're just letting it go now. Rabbit Yagi, that's something that can hurt them.
Yeah, they need to kind of show themselves up, like you say, maybe get that little bit of confidence to be able to make it happen here. Top lane, Wraith King might come across Boom, but Boom backs himself away. So we're still going to see the push out coming through. Oh, quick pause from Snowy. Maybe a little bit of lag, a little bit of a disconnect. But yeah, both teams... Yeah, we see the lag call coming out here. We might just get a quick reconnect coming through here for the Wraith King. But both teams now, again, it's not a massive difference. A 3k net worth, one fight could swing that for the side of Robert Yagi. But with this Aegis being out, are they really going to try and take... I suppose they have all their ultimates apart from the chaotic offering, which is 24 seconds away. So it's not a massive time difference here before he gets that back up. They could try and catch someone out, make something happen. But like you say, Navi, maybe going to feel a little bit more confident now they have this Aegis. So they might just look for this last tier 1 tower in the top lane. And it looks like that is the direction that Navi are headed.
Generally, with the Navi lineup, you're going to have Ember and Coddle on one side, and then they're going to be joining in with the team pretty fast because they've got the recall, and it's very easy for Ahri to go somewhere and then bring the Ember in. You do that so that you keep one of the waves pushed out and then go towards the lane where you want to be fighting. But they're going a little bit directly towards the top lane. Aegis is the type of thing that does give you the confidence to do so, and also Sanctity will have a shield rune. So good luck killing the Ember Spirit, really.
Yeah, maybe not even once here, like you say, with that shield rune coming out. The Ember Spirit as well. Mage Slayer is up. He went for the Sanjin Yasha as well, so going to be able to boost himself with the Shiva's into the BKB. This is a really nice Ember Spirit build. It's not too defensive, it feels like, but it's enough to keep him alive in the fights if things do kick off. So 3 minutes left on this Aegis. We'll see what they're going to do with it on the side of Na'Vi. Bottom lane is being pushed in by Spirit here as well, but they're going to be losing the stacks here. Robert Yagi to the side of Na'Vi, and Boom looking to pick those as well. What's the Magnus been going towards his own BKB, then into the Ag Scepter. He wants that Horn Toss out here, Boone. Wants that full control and now smoke. Where they're going to try and go with this. Oh, okay.
Robot Yagi sending in Snowy. He doesn't really care. He's not really a target. He has a great healing load as 2 lives. You're just not gonna be wanting to go for him. But I don't know if you've checked recently. The Doom within Empower has 300 damage per hit, and he does have the pack leader aura. So I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that damage. Then you add in the Infernal Blade damage as well. People are just gonna melt.
Yeah, with the Echo 7 coming out, so he's swinging, twice at you there as well. Spirit can get himself away from this one. The Ice Path, it is going to latch. And again, this is the Tide Hunter, though. He's got that Krillita fast. He's a big, tanky boy. Going to be skewered back. The Wraith Fire Blast does come in, though. They have the ultimate. They have more than enough to get the kill. The calling will go down. It gets that silence out, but again, Navi, they're still going to get aggressive. They want to carry and chase, and they're going to be able to get on top of Astago. Astago is going to be seen here. The Slider Fist Searing Chains combo will latch onto this Warlock. The Warlock caught out, killed off Yuragi. He's the one that gets credit for the kill. Do they want to go for even more here on the side of Navi? They might even step up for the tower because that mid lane wave, it is pushed in. They need to deal with the skeleton army, but I feel that that's going to be a breeze for them here with this catapult. Do they want to go into the tier 2 tower? Are they looking for more kills? As Storm Spirit, he is invised up, will be able to get himself away from this one. No gem, I don't think, for the side of Navi.
We have seen teams pick up a gem now even pre 30 minutes. It used to be like 30 minutes, people get it at the 37 patch, but ever since 38, games have been a little bit faster. So I wouldn't be surprised if they get it. The thing is that the Coddle is being very greedy with the pickup of the Aghanim Scepter, but once the Jakiro has 900 gold, I wouldn't mind Kaori getting it.
Yeah, I am surprised that it's not the other way around, that they tried to opt for the Ag Scepter here onto Kaori. You'll get the gem out onto Ahri, and then you'll let Ahri build up into that Ag Scepter afterwards. But yeah, leaving Kaori, he's actually going to go for the Solar Crest. He's only still got Brown Boots here on the Jakiro. Really is playing that true position 6.
And, well, it is going to be opening up this Tormentor. We'll see who's going to be the lucky guy. Will it be a Magnus, or will it be a Coddle? Coddle will be better, and you do get lucky there.
It does feel like more often than not, the good shard starts to come out now. I'm not seeing the tiny support shards anymore. I'm not seeing the the really
bad.
Yeah. Snowy, He's actually going to be summoning more skeletons. There's going to be the wrap coming through here from the side of Rabbit Yagi. They want to come
seconds
behind.
on the Aegis.
They want this backstab now. As the Wraith King is going to be able to get the Wraith Fire Blast out onto the Ember Spirit. The Ember Spirit just turns and fights. And like you say, does he want to try and spend that second life, get as much utility out of that as possible? Storm Spirit jumps in, but it gives a warning out for Spirit. So Spirit, they'll be able to get that jump in onto the Ravage now as well. They're going to be able to get the pullback only onto Denton. BKB used from Boom. Now what can they do? Chaotic Offering comes down.
BKB.
Can they get the Doom out? They do get a lot of damage. Yeah, that Tide Hunter loses so much health from this one, and now it looks at the side of Navi. Are they on the retreat? The BKB, it was off for Yuragi. Do they want to carry on going onto this one now as well, though? They're going to be grouped up. There's going to be RP coming out now as well. Do they have the damage to take anyone down here?
Storm Doom
coming through. Do they have enough damage? You're going to be able to get the damage out, but no. The TP away from the Storm Spirit going to be left behind, though. Wraith King, he's going to be coming alive for the second one. They do get the kill onto Spirit. Can they go for any more into this one? It looks like Sanctity. He is hunting. Yuragi will take down Morel. Like I say, he dies in that fountain. The Wraith King, he's going to go down a second time. They only get one pick from this one. Snowy, he's not going to be able to get the catch up. The Glimmer Cape here. Boom, run himself away, and Snowy is second life. It was off. The timing goes down, and 4 heroes down once again. Navi, great fight, even though they were the ones being engaged on.
Yuragi played that fight godly. He popped the BKB. Tidehunter jumped on top of his head. Usually you cannot react. He jumps on top of his head, BKB instantly, waits, patiently fights, waits for the Storm Spirit, goes for the Doom at a perfect moment. The Storm Spirit has to TP away, dies anyway, so doesn't really change anything for him. And Yuragi, for me, winning that fight. It started off solid for Rabbit Yagi. They forced out the Magnus BKB, and with that being said, Denton will probably be going down again.
Yep. Denton, there's no way out of this one. 4 heroes around, he's going to buy some time. He'll even pop his ultimate for this.
Close.
But
he could be a bonus.
Yeah, he backs himself away. He sees there's no way out. He doesn't have the chaotic offering. He don't want none of that. He's just going to back himself up.
Yeah. No, Muerta, you're on your own. You're already dead anyways, so.
Yeah. No real change. You just get a bit of a timeout.
Unreal, yeah. That's a friend for you, it seems. But yeah, Rabbit Yagi, they're now living with the consequences of their inaction. That is the thing. Navi, they just waiting for the timings. Once you get the BKBs, the Ravage, the Golem, they're no longer that big of a threat to you, and then you just go forward. And right now, Rabbit Yagi, you can feel that they are relatively helpless in the game. They still have this huge team fight, and it can always work, but because of their passiveness, that Navi are always going to be somewhat ready. You're not creating chaos. You're not coming in from weird angles. You're always going to be aware that you're searching for a fight.
Yeah, I feel like Navi, from what I've seen in the event so far, other matches that you've seen Navi in the past, like you say, the game plan coming through, maybe it's something that Milan's coached into them as well, but from ahead, even from Navi, they never really feel like they're going to make one of those big mistakes. They're never really going to be... It's never self-enforced, you know what I mean? It's never like them making the error. It's up to the other team to take advantage. And, it was, I think, Rabbit Yagi, they needed to put Navi on the back foot early on. Try and force them into that kind of a bit of a panic state. But for the minute, and for the entire game here, Navi, they've been cool, calm, and collected. Like you say, they are playing that Dota that you wanted them to play, and it's really paying off for them. They see Snowy. Yuragi, does he want to try and make that jump out onto the Wraith King? Wraith King has his ult up, so it looks like going to change targets here. Going to look for something different, maybe a Storm Spirit, maybe a Tidehunter. Wraith King, it looks like we're getting to that last-ditch effort time already. He's got that Rapier queued up.
It's not a good sign.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Wait, who queued up the Rapier?
No, he's changed his mind. He's going to go back to the BKB.
Yeah. I'm like, what's going on? Rob is lying to me. Like, is Navi queuing up a Rapier? Are they trying to throw the game? But no. I mean, you still have a decent way of shoving out the waves without much commitment. I mean, the Wraith King's got a Manta and the Radiance. But I think at this point you're kind of putting out the fire. It still has to be the team fights for Rabbit Yagi that pull them back. This is what their lineup does.
Yeah, and we'll see if they are going to be able to pull it back in their favor. I mean, 15k net worth lead. It's Your Navi is starting to build up now as well. Like you say, they're going to have the BKB comes up for the Ember. It's going to be a fresh one. You went for that before the Shivas. How's Yuragi looking? Yuragi, he's got that. Is it 7 seconds now? Yeah, 7-second BKB. Silver Edge out for the Doom as well. He's building up so much net worth here. Jump comes in. They're going to be on top of Ari. Ari can get himself away from this one. He's still going to be alive. He stands up for the meantime now as well. He can't drop that Will of the Wisp. Also, they want to try and engage for a little bit more here. Kaori going to be the next target from this, but Yuragi's coming in. He's going to be able to get the Doom out. No Ravage for you, sir. Spirit, he tried. Well, he's going to be Yosefted up, controlled out here, but he still is going to go down. Yuragi, do you want to go for more now? Be on top of the Wraith King, and now that Ignis Fatigue is going to be dropped now as well. Snowy controlled through this one. They get his first life. How easily can get the second life? He's got no BKB here. He is going to be controlled, manhandled out, and they get that second life on the board. Wraith Fire Blast going to be thrown through, but all he can really do is get a little bit of chip damage out. Won't be able to get any kills. And again, 2 heroes, 2 cores on the side for Robert Yagi are going to be going down.
You're Navi now, you're trying to force out the buybacks or the ultis, right? So buybacks are not there, so it's probably going to be the ultis. If you force out the Warlock Golem before the Tidehunter and the Wraith King are back, you've effectively overtaken the next 3 minutes of the game, which might even be enough for you to end it.
Yeah, and look at this one as well. Ari's so confident that Navi going to be able to do some work onto this one. Fortification is used, but Ari buys back. He's not even saving it for, okay, we're going to go into the next fight. I might need to save it for a base push. He's like, no, we buy back, we take this fight, we get the win, and then we look towards these buildings. This is how in control Navi feel. They're going to be able to get at least 1 lane of racks from this one, and now Ari towards the bottom lane, takes that Wisdom Shrine. That bottom lane is going to be pushing out now as well. 13 seconds on the Wraith King. Yeah, like I say, they're going to be looking for this the safety blanket here, even with the Roshan banner now as well. They might just not slow down. They take this Roshan, they look for another lane of racks, and it's going to be up to Robert Yagi once again to try and stop Navi here. At least they have all their ultimates up. That Ravage wasn't used, like they said, the Chaotic Offering, it wasn't used. So we'll see Robert Yagi, if they are going to be able to contest this one, take this fight.
Bottom lane in a good position, the mid lane will shove in itself, and the Ember is dealing with the top lane. Navi are gonna know. They're gonna understand from which side you're coming.
Yeah. And let's see, smoke up here. Tidehunter trying to get himself onto the high ground. He's got that Blink Dagger. He's going to be able to get himself in onto this one. Deadshot come through onto the Magnus. Not a massive opening, though, as we see Roshan even just being checked here by the side of Robert Yagi, but the big wraparound going to come through. Boom, does he get a jump out? If he can get the catch out into the storms right here, he does. RP comes through. Do they have the control to get the kills? It's going to be the chaotic offering coming through, but it doesn't matter. The Doom is out on the storms. They take him down. He's dead for 70. Looks like the Warlock going to be the next one to go down. Snowy now as well. He has his ultimate backup. What can he do on this one? There's going to be the Ravage still available. Sanctity chasing him down, and the Ravage comes out. He might be able to get the kill out onto the Magnus. Magnus here. He's done his job, though. He threw out the RP. They get the kill out onto the Storm Spirit, and now Spirit going to be chased down. Uriah right on top of him, will be able to get the kill. The Harpoon comes out. They take down 4. Is it going to be all 5 coming through here as they change targets? Going on to the Wraith King Ari. He's going to live for a little bit longer here. Snowy going to try and chase him down. Will be able to get the kill. That is a dieback here onto Ari, but it's going to be all 5 heroes. It looks like Tide. What's going to be able to do? The most they're going to try and get back in this fight now. So listen, Snowy, he's going to get low. Yeah, he's still ticking down to this one. The Emperor gets the jump in. The Deadshot comes through, but the Wraith King, he is dead. And Spirit now, is this going to be a dieback for the Tide? Look at this. He's going to try and run him down. Spirit, yeah, he has to back himself away. The Wraith King buys back on this, but that's going to be 2 big buybacks. Navi, they absolutely win this fight. They take down all 5. They force out 4 buybacks for the side of Robert Yagi. They're going to be the driver's seat. They ain't giving up control at all in this game.
That was 6 heroes dying in Robert Yagi, and they used 4 buybacks, and they still didn't kill either of the 2 big cores of Navi. So just goes to show how confidently Navi won that fight. And now if you're Robert Yagi, you have to go for the Rosh. It is a hard thing to get. It's probably not going to work, but if you lose the Rosh now, you've lost the game. So just go for it. And, probably lose the game anyways, but at least you go down swinging.
Yeah, I wonder if Sanctity checks this. So they don't know. It doesn't look like the Roshan. It's being attempted here. Yeah, they're going to wait maybe for Ari to be back up. Is it going to be too late? Roshan, it's not the quickest take here for the side of Robert Yagi. They're grouping themselves back up. They have these ultimates back up now as well. They're going to be able to get the skewer up onto Tidehunter. Tide. No Ravage. He's got himself no BKB. No way to keep himself alive to this one now as well. He's going to jump on the backlines now as well from Morel. Trying to get himself on top of Boom, but Boom. He has that BKB. They lose the Tide. Denton. Sanctity going to be right on top of him. Snowy, what's he going to be able to do? He's going to be able to do nothing. The RP B comes out. They have that Will-O-Wisp now as well. The control here, Snowy. Can he run himself away from this one? He's got that BKB up the Harpoon, but look at the Sanctity. Going to be able to stick to Snowy now. Snowy not going to be able to get himself away from this. He is going to go down once again. Doesn't have his ultimate backup now as well. He is dead. I think we might be seeing the beginning of the end coming through in this first game. Yeah, the GG is going to be called game number 1. It goes the way of Na'Vi.
I mean, after that fight, you've got no shot, right? You bought back on a lot of your heroes. The only play was to go into the pit, and unfortunately, Robotyagi at this point were way too weak. Their physical damage also not that high. I mean, you're not a Doom with a Alpha Wolf Aura and an Empower hitting 500 per hit. But yeah, Na'Vi are going to be getting a victory. I'd say a pretty easy one. They weren't challenged in this one even once, one fight. Robotyagi didn't overtake it, and this is with Sanctity dying 1 versus 1 in the mid lane. That was a present that they didn't manage to capitalize on. I feel like Robotyagi, and they should. If you're not gonna use these big ultis, just don't pick heroes that have them and have something that spams their spells and can fight constantly, or at least that gives you the confidence that you can.
Yeah. I mean, they might still be waking up. You know, we're very early in the morning. You know, we're not even 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock just yet. So maybe that's it. They just forgot where the buttons are. So maybe they're a little bit woken up now. They're going to be coming through into this second game with a little bit more about them. You're being able to kind of put the pressure onto Na'Vi. But Na'Vi, like you say, never really pressured out in this game here. They are going to be getting this first win, 27 kills to 11. Yeah, being able to kind of roll through, get all the objectives he wants. And yeah, Robotyagi never really put up a fight. But this is a best of 5. It's not even like you're do or die now in the second game. Robotyagi, they have 2 more lives on the line. Na'Vi, they need to keep this pressure up. They'll keep themselves in control of the series if they want to take it clean. But we are going to have a quick break to see how the second game is going to go. We'll see you right after this. Welcome in, everybody, back to this best of 5 here in the grand finals for CCT Season 8. And Na'Vi, they are one game up against Rabbit Yagi. And Rabbit Yagi, this is what... right, okay, before we get into the game, this is something that's been bugging me a little bit. Yo, Rabbit Yagi, is it like a Bob the Builder thing? You know, is this like some children's mascot that they're kind of boosting up? Because, you know, it's like... Is it just a case of a Bob the Builder ripoff?
I don't know. I feel like it's just that maybe they made the little avatar, you know, their logo, and Rabotyagi just means hard workers, right? So
okay,
it's it might be like we work super hard to get good at this game, because he does have a little Dota sign here on his shoulder. And is it the Bob the Builder ripoff? I don't know, man. This guy looks super strong, masculine. I feel like in a fight, Bob the Builder is screwed.
Yeah, but Bob has, like, you know, all the talk. I don't know if he still talk, you know, the tools and stuff like that. Like, it's not a fair fight. He was going to be bringing in an army. That's why I was asking if it's Rabbit Yagi. Is that going to be always going to be seeing the square off between Bob the Builder and Rabbit Yagi going forwards? But looking at it as we get ourselves straight into this draft, you know, I've had my little sidetrack piece here. We've talked about it now, so it's out of my system. Looking at this game, coming in, game number 2, straight off the bat, Rabbit Yagi, they ban out the Darkseer. Nature's Prophet being taken away here from Na'Vi. Tinker, yeah, no surprise that Tinker's being taken out. I think if Ari can't have it, they don't give it up to a first pick potential here for the other side. But looking at, is there anything from that last game you think needs to be addressed, you know, needs to be taken out here in the second game?
I don't necessarily think so. You might ban out the Jakiro, sure. You might ban out the Ember at some point. But for me, this was not a drafting issue, right? It's not like, oh, if they didn't have a Jakiro, we would have won. No, I don't think that was the issue. If something needs to be changed, it is either Rabotyagi's draft or Rabotyagi's approach to playing the game with a similar draft. It doesn't really have to be an issue for Rabotyagi heroes that they were playing against necessarily. So yeah, that's I don't think we're gonna be seeing much different of an approach when it comes to bans.
Okay, and yeah, it looks like it's gonna be, apart from the Darkseer, which I don't think got taken out in the last game,
nope,
unless I'm misremembering. No, it's all the same. Yeah, it's gonna be that Jakiro ban coming through for Na'Vi, though. Don't want to give this one away.
Yeah, it is. Jakiro is a very hard hero to play against, right? If I'm an offlaner and I'm cursed to play versus the Jakiro, I'm so sad, right? Even as a position 4, it just sucks, man. You cannot trade with him. He's stronger than you. It's hard to play against. The Tiny did make it through because of that Darkseer. So Na'Vi, they probably thought, oh, Sanctity is going to be getting his Tiny, but no such luck. So Rabotyagi now, they have a mid laner who is very capable of bringing heroes down from 100 to 0, and that might give them the confidence to be a little bit more aggressive in game.
Yeah, can keep that flex as well. I've seen more than a fair share of position 1 Tinies coming out as well. You go for the is it the insurmountable facet, or in you know, something like that? It sounds something like that. Anyway, yeah, being able to get that one out. So yeah, can keep that one flexed here on side of Rabbit Yagi. Like I say, we'll see how Na'Vi want to respond. Again, the Magnus, the Monkey King, Medusa, all the M's still there. You have the Warlock, which is just really an upside down M if they want to go for the Warlock here too. So we'll see what that first pick for Na'Vi is going to be. They're going to take a little bit of time to think about this one, going to the reserve, but it's going to be the Phoenix, which... no M's there, but yeah, the Phoenix is going to be coming out, and we'll see how they're going to try and play around this. I've seen a couple of mid-Phoenixes coming out. If this is a mid-Tiny, that mid-Phoenix can absolutely ruin the lane for the Tiny.
Yeah, for sure, but generally, in any kind of a situation, a Phoenix is good versus the Tiny. You just suck in terms of your attack speed. You have a lot of HP, so the Sun Ray burns you down very quickly, you know, something that you don't imagine is gonna happen. Your HP just starts melting. So overall, I really like that Na'Vi remembered this hero to open up the draft with him, because there wasn't really a perfect core to go for. Maybe, I don't know, with the Beastmaster or something, but I can see that they're not too eager to play it. But the Phoenix is actually a very, very good response to the Tiny, no matter where Rabotyagi are gonna put this hero.
Yeah, and again, can we flex, like you say, into whatever lane that the Tiny does go into here. They don't need to commit to anything just now. We'll see how Robert Yagi going to try and play around this one if they have something up the sleeve here. Maybe you stick that Tiny now on the position 4, something like that. Just give a boost up to somebody else. They ban out the Dragon Knight and the Magnus here by the side of Robert Yagi. What do you want to be taking away on the side of Na'Vi? What's that big pick they really don't want to be playing up against? And I mean, they do have that next pick as well, so they can still go in for one of these big powerhouse heroes to come out in that next phase.
I mean, it depends. Do you want to defend the egg? Morphling is a good carry. Versus it, you banned out the Jakiro, the Snapfire, not really super popular, Mirana either. So you're probably not going to be banning out those heroes. You could ban out the Muerta. That can be an annoying hero versus the Phoenix, or a Silencer, right? If you're protecting the Phoenix. But they might just be protecting their next pick, and since we don't know where they want to take it, then it's anybody's guess. Maybe ban out the Beastmaster, pick a Pango, right? That'd be an okay one.
Yeah, we'll see. Like you say, when Na'Vi are going to take it. In terms of from the last game, in terms of what they were outputting, in terms of the damage, it felt like again Na'Vi, they had it all pretty much handed to them on a plate. So Robert Yagi, I would like to see a little bit more of an aggressive draft. They actually ban out the Ursa on the side of Na'Vi, but yeah, go for heroes that are going to make the jump. I mean, the Storm Spirit, like you say, should have really been doing that from the get-go, but never really tried to cross the river without the support of his teammates. So yeah, I would like to see these heroes that get aggressive, get the jump on heroes. Like you said, you talked about the Slark in the last game, that Morphling coming out, the Monkey King, if they can get it in here as well, as the Monkey King comes up from Na'Vi. But these heroes, the Centaur that's going to be trying to get that first item blink up, get the jump out, get aggressive. The Sand King going to be the silencer here for Robert Yagi, though, right in the second pick.
Silencer, and now that I see a Silencer, I'd like for some solid lockdown. Shadow Shaman, let's say, or maybe just get a Sand King right now. Something along those lines. Something that does have a stun, so that you start off with a Tiny, have a toss combo, global silence, get rid of the Phoenix, let's say at the start, and then when you are out of position, that you have another hero with the big counter initiation with a nice stun. That's the type I'd like to see.
I wouldn't even mind something like the Mars. If you can get the jump out into the Monkey King, get that arena with a spear, just get that lockdown out. Yeah, just something that, like you say, just follows up behind the Tiny, or even sets the pace for the Tiny as well in these fights.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind anything like that. But considering that you're okay, they're gonna go for a Storm. So you have a Silencer, you have a Tiny. Generally, the pocket doesn't feel amazing here. The thing is that out of all of the melee heroes, Monkey King is actually one of those who can beat the Storm in lane. So I feel like Na'Vi might just already be prepared for the Storm Spirit. Yeah.
And now it does mean again, the Phoenix they see the mid lane, like say they can lock in whoever they want to go up against. Maybe they go for something like that puck that's going to have the control out with the Dream Coil. Going to be fairly good. No, they go for the Tide here, so more control, more circles coming out here for the side of Na'Vi.
Good one versus the Tiny, especially, right? Because you have so much damage, and then the Anchor Smash takes it away. So I'm liking this. Plus, it is a defense for the egg, and now you can get any position 4 that you like, and you're probably going to get something that's good versus the Storm. Muerta, Shadow Shaman. I'm even thinking
Hoodwink, Ari's signature. Well, it was a signature going back when he was on OG. Yeah, and again, looking at the circles, the Bushwhack into the Ravage with the Wukong's command over the top, the Supernova. I know it's not officially a circle, but it explodes into a circle. So, it's more of it is an egg. But eggs can be circular-ish.
Do we see a Slark now? Man, this is a hell of a Slark game, really.
Yeah.
And I don't see a carry that completely destroys him. Like, none of these heroes do well versus the Slark. Maybe laning stage could be a little bit tricky for you, but generally you should be fine. But now it's a Tiny carry, right? It's very unlikely that they're going to be moving it somewhere else. So we're probably just going to see an offlaner now. Like a Pango would be decent.
Maybe. What else could you be? I mean, you could look for the Slardar as well. You're the Bash lockdown, some good right click fight as well. Though I suppose if it's up against the Monkey King potentially, might be it just feels a little bit awkward to me now. This offlane pick for the side of.
I have an idea. Pick an Enigma, and then there's just gonna be a Terrorblade. That's I like the Terrorblade because it has the potential of a flex between a 1 and a 3. The Tiny is a flex between a 1 and a 4. So now it's gonna be a little bit tougher for Na'Vi to ban. I'd still ban out the position 4s and assume that it's going to be an offlane Terrorblade with the carry Tiny. But if Rabbit Yagi want to switch it up, they can.
Are you not a little bit worried about the lack of lockdown here for Rabbit Yagi? You've got the Avalanche and you've got the Vortex for the Storm Spirit, but you don't really have a whole lot in these fights, whereas on the side of Na'Vi, every single hero has some form of built-in lockdown.
The saving grace for Rabbit Yagi is that during the global silence, the supports of Na'Vi are very easily taken down. And then if you take them down, you don't really need all that much lockdown for the chase down. So, and you're probably just gonna have a position 4 that helps you a little bit in that regard, so it's not gonna be the worst thing in the world. But generally, Rabbit Yagi, in terms of lockdown, they are not in trouble. They have the tools to play versus the Na'Vi lineup.
Okay. Well, we'll see what the final few bans are going to be here. The puck already been taken out here by Rabbit Yagi. On the side of Na'Vi, what do they want to be removing? Is there anything? They go for the keeper light, like saying yeah. So they are banning out these 4s. What else could be banned out? Ringmaster's still there, Wind Ranger's still there as well. 2 really big supports, having a great time in the current meta.
Yeah, I like any of those, really. It just works out well. Maybe Ringmaster wouldn't be that great. His saves in this game aren't amazing. Yeah. You're still gonna be inside of the area of the Egg, inside of the area of the Ravage, inside of the area of the Wukong's command. So maybe not go that route. Maybe like something a bit more aggressive, something that allows you to make plays more often, play with a Storm. Shadow Shaman, Hoodwink would have been great for Rabbit Yagi. Unfortunately, it was taken by the other side. Any other position 4s who are very popular, nobody picks a line. I've seen some Grimstrokes, but very rarely. Wind Ranger would be the perfect one, right? That's the one that has been definitely gaining popularity, and I feel like would be amazing for Rabbit Yagi.
Yeah, with the kill shot potential coming out there as well. That spell is just... Oh no, they're going to go Sand King. So
support Tiny.
It's going to be that support Tiny, yeah. It's going to be the offlane Sand King carry Terrorblades, as well as the Silencer support and that Storm Spirit in the mid lane. So, Na'Vi, what is the response? How much do you like this Rabbit Yagi draft? This last pick Sand King?
I'm not sure. Now, I'm kind of torn. I'm thinking, let's put the Monkey King versus the Sand King and the Tiny and just break their necks so much that they never recover. That's how I'm feeling. But the thing is, do you have anything in mind that's going to be able to deal with the Storm? Like maybe a Quap or something along those lines.
OD is still there. OD is sneaking back into the picks now. It's been picked up a few times. Is there anything else? Do they want to try and play around something fancy up their sleeve on the side of Na'Vi?
I don't see it. No. But I'd still rather pick a carry. Just pick an anti-mage. Pick an anti-mage, GG, you won. Let's go. Terrorblade is the only problem for you, but the Terrorblade is not not what he used to be in terms of ending the games early.
Yeah, we'll see what it's going to be here for Na'Vi then. Like you say, maybe they go for, like you say, sticking that Monkey King in the mid lane, go for something else that can carry. Ban-wise, though, not a whole lot left, so maybe they do go for something like the AM. Sven is still there, Wraith King still there. Is the Ursa. The Ursa got banned out. Those are the more common ones, but it's going to be the Sven pickup here for the side of Na'Vi. And I don't mind that. Actually, I kind of do, because I still think, like say, outside of the BKB time, and the Avalanche comes out, the Reflection here from the Terrorblade, you're going to have the Burrow Strike now, the Vortex coming through as well for the Storm Spirit. So there is still a decent amount of control that Sven has to watch out for. Obviously, not everything's going to be dumped on his head, but it's... The question mark is still for me, is this Sven gonna be able to get himself around these fights when he doesn't have that BKB up?
You're fine. In this game, you're fine. So here's how it goes. You mentioned all of the circles. Fighting inside of those circles, when the Ravage hasn't been used, inside of the Wukong's command, around the Egg, you don't really need the BKB, right? Mm-hmm. You need it more as a defensive tool not to die if they're trying to focus you down than to not get kited, right? But both of those things are going to be averted with just having the protection of the big AoE stuns around you. Plus, your laning phase is going to be amazing, and very importantly, Sven doesn't care about the global silence. You use your ulti, you use the war cry, you jump in, and oh no, he's using the global silence. What am I going to do? Nothing. You're just going to hit. It's what you do anyway. So I feel like this pick does make a lot of sense. It's generally not the amazing hero versus the Terrorblade, but it doesn't matter. It's not his job to kill the Terrorblade. It's the job of the Hoodwink throughout the game and the Phoenix to deal with the TB and his illusions. The Sven is there to kill all of these low armor heroes, and Rabbit Yagi do have a lot of them.
Yeah, and I wonder what the build-up's going to be here for the Sven as well, as we are going to be able to get ourselves into this second game shortly. You'll see how this one is going to break down. But I've been seeing a couple of different builds coming through for the Sven. You know, more recently, you still go for the early build-up, which is the Mask of Manus into the Echo Saber. But then I'm seeing either BKB or Sanjin Yasha coming out for the Sven into an AC. You're not going for that Blink Dagger. You're not going for the Initiation Tool. You're keeping yourself alive more. You're building yourself up defensively because you still output. If you build up a BKB Sanjin Yasha, thanks to the Wrath of God, you're still putting out 250, 300 damage per click before the God Strength comes out as well. You know, it's still ridiculous that this hero's damage, but you aren't as easily kited. So that's something I'd like to see for the Sven here is, you know, don't force yourself into the BKB. Go for that Echo Saber, get the Sanjin Yasha up, get that BKB, go back for a Harpoon early on, use that to close the gap, and rely on your teams, because again, Icarus Dive, the Blink in from the Tide with a Ravage, like you say, you're going to have the control, the Balance Strike coming out, the Bushwhack. You've got more than enough for your team to help you get on top of heroes. You just need to do that damage and stick to them.
Yep, this should be a pretty straightforward game for Navi. Rabotyagi, they do have heroes that can constantly make plays, so their lineup is a little bit harder to read, but it just comes down to how fast can we go for those moves with the Tiny, with the Storm, with the Sand King, right? You need to make it all happen. It's all going to be happening around the early mid game, but we might see a very early fight.
Oh yeah, we're going to see an Avalanche come through the Stormhammer, though. It's going to be a lot of damage out onto with the Burst Strike as well. They're going to be able to get the kill. The Monkey King will fall once again. It's going to be the first blood going the way of Rabbit Yagi. We'll see, though, this time what they're going to be able to do off that I mean, not even a minute into the match after the Horn. So, you know, I'm not expecting 5-man rotations and ganks, but, you know, what they're going to be able to use to off that first blood, what it's going to give them, what they're going to be able to build up into.
Unfortunately, it's only a Silencer, so some extra experience for you, and Silencer gets some gold, so it's basically just going to be top lane. You have a little bit more regen. That's the that's the only advantage you get. It's not a negligible advantage, but it's not the classic one as a Storm. Okay, now he's going to be doing so well versus the Monkey King. No.
Yeah, it gets like a minute 0 bottle coming out there for the Storm if he was the one to pick up the first blood, something like that. I mean, Silencer got one in. Can't take that away. Brain drain there, you know. Ooh, big impact. Burst Strike comes through out onto the Phoenix. Good Avalanche now. Well, Coyote taking a hell of a lot of damage here. Yeah, I think the body blocks might just do a bit of a favor. The Stormhammer comes out. Is he going to be able to turn this one around? The Blood Grade now as well. Spirit, maybe a bridge too far here for the Sand King. Going to be taking down Yuragi. That was a great turnaround. Again, the body blocks from the creeps, I think, did just enough to save Coyote's life.
Exactly. It was the creep there that stopped the Sand King for a second, giving Sven time to get his stun, and then after that stun was a problem. And this is just the thing, you're getting so close to killing the Phoenix, but the Dying Light is doing massive amounts of damage. And in that fight, even though Sven was running down the Sand King all that time, the Phoenix did more damage to him than the Sven. And,
oh, Denton. They are going to be able to get the kill onto Kyori now as well, but they do take down Denton, so Yuragi gets that as a solo, you know, the gold and the experience going his way. Going to be fairly happy with that. I think here, Yuragi, yeah, you lose the Phoenix, but he was low on health anyway, so he's going to be okay with a reset. It feels like as Ari chased down now by Astegor is going to be pushed away from this lane. So, boom, Snowy going to be left alone here, getting that solo XP, that solo farm up. And it feels like, again, this Tide on the lane, even though it's on the other side now, shouldn't really be too contested. The toss comes back. This is what I wanted to see. First game, this is how I wanted to see, you know, Rabbit Yagi playing, put Navi under pressure, force them into the missteps, you know, really shake their confidence, and they're doing a hell of a lot more in this game, Rabbit Yagi, in the first 5 minutes, than I think they did in the first 15 of the last game.
And this is very big, right? Because the Monkey King has the capabilities of winning versus the Storm, unlike the Emperor. And this time around, you don't really have, like, Monkey King enablers. It's not like that exists anyways. So he is gonna suffer a bit in this lane now, because if the Storm is ahead, he will apply pressure. Same is true the other way around. Of course, it does come at a cost, and that is that your Sand King is, I mean, struggling to say the least, but he's being destroyed, basically, in the laning stage.
It is 2 melee heroes fighting into a Phoenix. Yeah, that's never a comfortable lane, because it's not like you can throw the right clicks out to try and harass the Phoenix back without, like you say, getting close. And if you are doing damage, you are going to be proccing that Dying Light on yourself. So it is very awkward here for Spirit and Denton in this lane, it feels like. But yeah, we'll see Morel once again in this mid lane, putting the pressure out. Level-wise, it's fairly even, but overall, you see the Storm Spirit here. He's picking up a couple more last hits, and that might snowball in favor of Morel in this lane.
He's just gonna be pushing him back. Sanctity now is taking way too much damage. He has 6 stick charges, but look at his HP. Right now, you can't get close to the storm or you're gonna die.
So, I mean, you were talking about it, the supports. Not really a duo that's going to be able to enable here on bottom lane. Spirit could be Dorvan again. Icarus died from the Phoenix, but yeah. So what's the game plan for Sanctity? Is it just get the most out of this lane as possible, or do you want that Hoodwink rotating in before the 6 on the Storm Spirit? Do you want the Phoenix coming in, maybe getting the Sunray off with the Bushwhack to try and get the kill onto Morel?
I don't think so. I mean, you might get an opportunity around the first round of power runes, but you're not gonna be going to the mid lane with an idea, oh, we're killing the storm. Likely to happen. So what you want to do with the Monkey King is farm and be faster on the rotations than the Storm Spirit, which you can be, right? Because you don't really rely on your mana that much to move around the lanes fast, and that is where the Monkey King should be getting the advantage in the early mid game and mid game over the Storm Spirit.
Yeah. Boom, taking a lot of pressure here on the top lane as well. Look at his health for this Tide Hunter. He's not gone for a point in the Kraken Shell either, so he's going to be fully vulnerable to this Silencer, to the Terrorblade when he gets the Metamorphosis out, which he looks at the Terrorblade did just do. It's about halfway down on the cooldown here for the Terrorblade, so it's still going okay though for the Tide. I think as long as you don't die as a Tide on this lane, you're soaking the XP, you get yourself close to the Ravage, it's still okay for the Tide Hunter. He does want the phase boots here as well, so he's going to be able to run himself in. Speaking about running yourself in here, exactly what I was talking about here. Before the level 6 comes out, the balance strike will be, but the TP comes out from Denton. They won't be able to get the kill. The tossback coming through the Phoenix.
This is dangerous for the Storm.
Does he have the damage to get the kill? He doesn't. And now Sanctity trying to go man mode up against Denton. Morel is going to be forced back. The Phoenix, one more Fiery Spirit might have done the job, but Morel will live, having to do the Walk of Shame back to base though, completely out of mana.
Yeah, this is why I thought that this would not have been a great idea. Because it kind of feels that the Storm does more than the Monkey, and really the Monkey couldn't get close. Yeah, the Phoenix did massive amounts of damage to the Storm Spirit, but we saw that it didn't really change much. And the Storm is going to be ready for the power runes with his level 6. So this little move of theirs has even backfired.
Yeah, Monkey King is now close to the level 6, but not quite here. The Mischief, Sanctity, could be another dive in, but you have that level 6 onto Morel, so Morel going to be able to get that ball lining out. Ari's waiting on the North Rune. It's going to be Astigor, actually. Picks that regen, chased it away there, Ari, from the Rune spot. Wasn't sure. I mean, you don't want to stick around there, because if the Storm Spirit dives your way, no quick way to get yourself out on Ari, who's only level 2 on this Hoodwink. Ari's being bullied all the way through from the start of this game and really paying the price XP-wise. They're going to be able to get a little bit down onto the Storm Spirit now, but the Storm Spirit, again, going to be able to get himself away. Wasn't able to get that regen rune up, though. It was contested out, so Astigor had to pick it up, which means Morel just going to be relying on the basic bottle charges as well as that Tango being passed across from one of his supports.
These supports of Na'Vi, they're really low in levels, and they're actually trying to contest this Wisdom Shrine. Storm Spirit doesn't have a TP, but Morel is rotating in either way, so this is gonna be a rough fight.
Sanctity did get spotted out here. Asked to go, Ari, what's he going to be able to do? Did he get the Bushwhack off? It doesn't latch. Oh my dude, that was so easy. Wukong Saman will come out, but even
Nice
Snowy's
dodge.
down here as well. Sanctity not going to be able to get himself away from this. They have the damage. Astigo will get that last hit in for the kill, which means it's going to be even more intelligence. Go the way of Silencer, doubled up already. I know it's only 2, but it sounds more dramatic when you see Silencer doubles in intelligence steal with the kill.
Yeah, ever since they changed it to 1, I feel like it doesn't do anything. I don't know if you have the same feeling. 2 was fine, right? But 1 intelligence per kill, it's pathetic.
Ari mid lane, Storm Spirit will be able to get the jump. The Bushwhack does come through. Sanctity TPing back in, but again, Morel, a lot of mana left. He's got that soaring back up now as well. So more than enough to get away from this Monkey King. In the top lane, though, they make a dive onto Denton. Denton throws the avalanche out. I think he just tosses away one of the creeps. And not what the hero's putting the pressure on. One more anchor smash. It should be enough for the kill. Will be enough. And boom, going to be able to get himself his first kill on the board.
The game is kind of even, but the reason that's the case is because the Sven is ways ahead of anybody else. This is a bit too much for a Sven to have. You know, Sven can be this timing-based hero who completely annihilates you 20 minutes into the game. This is one of those games where it's very likely to happen.
Yeah, Central Wall goes down. He did have the haste in there, but not enough lockdown to follow up the Sand King. So the Sand King going to be able to get the burrow away, and it is going to be, it looks like, again, Yuragi just building up full... No, he does have the Blink Dagger queued up. I don't know about this one, my dude. But again, I'm not the pro player. I'm just here to watch and talk about it. So we'll see what Uragi's going to be able to do. Maybe he changed his mind, but yeah, maybe he just needs to be, like you say, he needs to be that one getting on top of the heroes, applying the pressure with the God Strength right clicks, and maybe just allowing his teammates to build up. Maybe the Vlad's coming out. It's actually going to be the pipe for the Tidehunter.
Yeah, the damage of Rabotyagi is mostly magical, so you get the pipe in this game, and not only you, but nobody dies suddenly. You're probably going to be getting the egg of survivors with a global silence, and that's how it should be. So what Navi need to do in this game really is be able
Yagi, they have a best of 3 to play after
We're back.
Zero Tenacity. We are back in the game. And hopefully, Tier 1 tower. Boom does get the deny out onto the tower, though. So, the little things, they could add up for the side of Navi.
They always do, but overall, the little things in this game have been done a little bit better by Rabotyagi. The only thing that's looking really, really good for Navi is still this Sven. But I don't know how they pull this Monkey King back into the game. I like the item that he's going for. At least the Mage Slayer is most definitely the way to go. You get a Mage Slayer, you get a pipe, and suddenly Rabotyagi do no damage.
Yeah, and CCT could be able to get himself around these fights, be able to proc that, especially if he gets himself on top of, like you say, the Storm Spirit early on in the fights there as well, just being able to get that proc off here. And CCT, I like this that he's, he's not, okay, he's down on the net worth, but he's farming out. He knows his teammates don't need this panic rotation. Oh god, I'm behind, I need to build my net worth up, let's go to the side lanes. Because the side lanes are going comfortable, so they're just allowing CCT the time to get this farm up. Build himself up to these items. As I say that though, he's in the flying courier form.
Yeah, but Rabotyagi now, they have a blink on the Sand King. Considering that you decided to go this way, now you have to make this work. Silencer's in trouble though.
Yeah, sharpshooter, they're going to give it to Uragi. Uragi easily picks up that kill and will be able to take down the tier 1 tower there as well. Kaori gets the credit for it.
Look at the mid lane.
King is scouting out now, smoke behind Storms for it. Boom is here. What do they want to try and do? He didn't go, like you say, no blink. Gonna go towards this pipe.
There's the monkey.
Shield Rune comes out here. Monkey King, 3 heroes on top of him. CCT, well, I was speaking about him catching up. It's going to be delayed even further here. Boom. Walking himself in. Again, has those phase boots, but Morel completely out of mana now. They just want to take this tier 1 tower down, though. Fortification is going to be used, but I don't think Sven really going to be able to care about this one. He's going to take down the creep wave.
Coming from the other side.
Going to be spotted out, though. Ari playing that body block between the Sand King and the rest of his team.
The thing is, with this early blink purchase on the Sand King, sure, you got the kill on the Monkey King, but what you have to do is get a kill into a tower, kill into some pressure on the map. Whereas they got a kill and they got pressured, and that to me is a warning sign for Rabotyagi, a big one. Right, this is why you need the Terrorblade to be there. If you've taken down a hero, for him to be able to apply the pressure, for him to be able to stand his ground. I really am looking towards Snowy in this game to see how he's going to be contributing to his team, because he has to.
Yeah. And so you're expecting him or wanting him not to go for like the full 17, 18 minute your PvE game that we usually see the Terrorblade? Is it just get the Asher group up with his team and look for objectives?
So recently I had an interview with Crystallis, and he said like, yo, this Terrorblade hero, he drops off after 35 minutes and just can't do anything. I feel like that's going to be the case here as well. You have to make something happen. Just don't die now.
Oh, the bushwhack. It's not going to connect. Ari, maybe he's a little bit rusty. He hasn't played the Hoodwink for a while. He's dropped a couple of big bushwhacks, though, and not throwing the acorn shot out first, thinking he's going to be able to get the tree lockdown. But yeah, Ari, just a little bit of a couple of mistakes coming out here on this Hoodwink so far.
It happens, right? It was a hard one to connect. He was pretty much max distance on the Terrorblade, and you very rarely do get that one. It's a hard one.
I mean, he did come up within touching distance, though, because obviously he was on the high ground. He didn't see him. But yeah, could have gone for the point blank one. But yeah, he just let it go a little bit. Maybe didn't have the timing right on the Sven coming through the twin gate. So he's thinking, I'm going to delay it as long as possible. I'll still hit it. But yeah, I mean, again, not going to massively flame him, but just saying that he just needs to shake it off. Get that
you're
rust.
a disgrace to our nation.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna
catch him though.
He's gonna die now. Yeah, Stormspirit jumps himself in. The TPs are gonna come through now as well. Ari though, he's gonna get low sharpshooter. The global silence does come out. Morel, one more right click. He is gonna be able to get the killer onto Ari, and yeah, that's gonna be epicenter now as well. Supernova will be used though. Can he get himself away? The balance trick, it will connect onto Spirit. Spirit though in that infinite form with the sandstorm coming out. Do they have any reveal? Coyote. It's gonna be the toss coming out now as well. The double Boros strike. Can they get the kill onto both of the ones? The blood grenade comes out, finishes off the kill. Really good fight. Yuragi jumps himself back in, will be able to take down the Sand King. Can they go for more onto this one? Asgore, is there a Stormhammer? Is there any reveal? There is. They have the damage. Yuragi at least gets the double kill, but they are going to give up 3 there. Tormentor is up. You can see that, like you were saying, Snowy is down in this bottom lane. He wants to group up with his team if they need to try and contest this, but Na'Vi being 2 heroes down, they have that tier 1 tower, 2 TP2. No TP for the Monkey King though for 30 seconds. Can he tree dance himself over here? Only level 1 on that tree dance. It's going to take him a while to get there. Looks like they don't commit towards this Tormentor yet on the side of Na'Vi. So, Robert Yagi, do they want to try and pressure this tier 1 tower? Take it for themselves.
It's hard. You use the epicenter, you use the global silence. So it is going to be a rough one. But you definitely want to try and force out the Ravage defensively. That is the way to go.
Stormspirit jumping in. They might just be able to do that one now. Boom, though. He's going to have the activation on the Kraken Shell. And look at this. Yeah, like you say, he gets the full pipe up now as well. Avalanche comes in. Toss back now onto the Tide. Ravage will be used. The Sand King. We tried to get himself in there. Can he get himself out of this fight now? Boom. Try to run himself away. The Sandstorm. It's not going to be enough damage here as well. The Terrorblade Illusion. It's not enough to kill off Boom, though. Look at the heals coming through. And Boom, he's reaching up fairly damn quickly. Can they turn on this one around? Ari gets low sharpshooter. Comes out into the Sand King. One right click. Sanctity takes him down. Yuragi onto Denton. Ari will fall. He gives his life for the cause, though. The damage comes through. Snowy with the Sunder. Do they want to carry on fighting this one out on both sides? Because both sides using big spells to make this happen. And it looks like they might be all out of gas.
No metamorphosis now, so that's the problem for Robert Yagi. They're always missing something. But this is buying time for their global silence in the epicenter, so they're most definitely going to be able to fight. So even though they might not be able to take down the tower and take a huge engagement, take the objective, they might be able to protect the Tormentor if they come here in time.
Well, Morel, he isn't down here. He's in the mid lane, and it looks like Yuragi, as low as he is, he's going to be able to weather the storm of the damage from the Tormentor. Get some of this regen up now as well. They wait inside the regen aura coming up from that Tormentor, the alleviation here, and yeah, it's a little bit too late for the shard going the way of Coyote. And do they want to carry on pressure? And Snowy is going to rotate himself in. Like I say, no meta, no Sunder coming through here for the Terrorblade, so going to be a little bit careful that he doesn't get jumped on. Blink Dagger is up for the Sven, the God Strength, but Sven going to be going back the other way. Yuragi, yeah, doesn't want to stand on to this one. It is going to be BKB.
Cut him off.
Oh, what can they do? Storms for it now. Morel, he's going to look for it. He is in miss. Do they have a reveal? Dance and Spirit going to come in. There's going to be the toss him into the Coyote gets low. Did he get the kill after? There's going to be the Vortex drag back. They do. Spirit takes him down, but that's all they're going to get here. It looks like on the side of Robert Yagi.
They didn't use any of their big spells. They got a tower. Not a bad trade, to be honest. I'd be relatively happy. Plus, you did kill the support that got the shard, so that is a decent amount of gold that goes your way, and also a lot of wards being taken away from Na'Vi. Yeah, first strike in. Ari going to be the next one to be jumped on here. The Avalanche, the Bushwhack will be used, but Morel still has that right-click damage to get the kill, and they're looking like they want to go for another tier 1 tower here. Fortification will be coming out. Do they want to try and mount a defense on the side of Na'Vi? Well, Yuragi isn't here. They have Sanctity. They have Coyote. Do they just try and Sunray this one, delay it for as long as possible as Boom with the Anchor Smash onto the Illusions? Going to keep that tier 1 tower alive a little bit longer. Yeah, when Boom appears, it dissuades you from going forward. So this is kind of the thing that Rabot Yagi need to be doing. What I would be doing from their side, always try to force Boom onto the side lanes. Sure, he's on the mid lane now, but that just means go to the side lanes, shove in the waves. If Boom moves to a side wave, fight in the mid lane, find pickoffs, find these supports. That is what your lineup needs to do. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat until you feel confident enough that you can bring down the tide with your right clicks on the Terrorblade. So let's see if they're going to be able to do it. Have been doing a pretty decent job of it thus far.
Yeah, the Tide is going to have that Blink Dagger, though, up if... Is it going to be... It's going to be after this wave if he wants to go for one more Axe Smash, back himself up towards his teammates, but he has the gold for it now. Will be able to buy it out, which is going to be a big, big boost once again. And look at this one. Na'Vi, no hesitation, right into the Roche pit. They know no one's around that mid lane, no one in the top jungle, because they were just there. So they feel the timing out here. They even throw the scan out. Yep, they're going to be able to get this Roshan, and it looks like Rabbit Yagi don't even know this is going on.
Yeah, they have no idea, and you would be running into an egg and the Ravage. Very unlikely that you're killing both of them. Maybe you're not even killing either of them during the global silence, so this is just going to be an easy grab for them. I'm actually surprised that Kaori isn't going for a Yule Scepter. He's rather taking a Solar Crest. In this game, a Yule's just solves all of your problems.
He could go back for it after this, maybe looking for the team defense before the solo defense, yeah. Meanwhile, though, it's still, I mean, okay, they lost an Aegis, or they weren't able to contest the Aegis, but Rabbit Yagi, they're still setting a high pace. You know, they're still getting very aggressive here against Na'Vi, and I think it's working out. You know, they're not letting Na'Vi execute that game plan for free, which they should have done in the first game, paying off for them a lot more in here in the second game.
For sure. But the Na'Vi are still ahead. The Sven is still scary. He still hit his timing with a 9-second BKB, and next item on the menu is going to be the Revenant's Brooch. That is when the Terrorblade starts taking a decent amount of damage as well.
Do you like this, you know, specifically, I guess, up against the Terrorblade, which is that high armor hero that you do, you know, go for the Revenant's Brooch over the Daedalus?
Yeah, I think so. And generally, Revenant's Brooch is at the moment regarded as a better item. Yeah, it's more cost effective than a Daedalus.
Okay. Yeah, it's what, like 2k cheaper, I think it is.
Yep. It does almost the same amount of damage, basically.
Jump comes in here. We'll see, though. Na'Vi are smoked up. Those reflections going to be doing a little bit. Do they want to try and cut off? Again, this is a smoke coming out from the side of Na'Vi, so Rabbit Yagi, they're going to try and group themselves up. That silencer has that global silence, but he's going to be... No, they're going to retreat. Yeah, they're just going to leave here. Storm Spirit TPing away, and they don't want to take any risks here. Spirit through the Twin Gate. Looks like they're just going to play this one defensively. They don't know where everybody is. Boom. We'll get Spirit's Courier. So there's one victim, and it's going to be the Courier with that Veil of Discord.
It's a pretty small victim, though. But during this time, Rabbit Yagi were running away from Na'Vi, so it's not like they were farming. Yeah. And that's why the gold lead of Na'Vi is increasing a bit. But the Sven definitely wants to fight. If you're Yuragi right now, you're aware you jump somebody and you're breaking their neck.
Yeah, and you see that they're getting very bold here, going to the other side of the river, trying to find that farm. On the other side, though, it's no smoke, but the dive comes in. Stormspray going to get the catch out. Do they have the kill? Phoenix has a little bit of protection. Global Silence can be used now as well. Kiori not going to be able to get that Icarus dive away, but he's still going to live. The Monkey King, that tree is chasing down now. They're going to be able to get on top of Morel. And Morel, yeah, like you say, he's going to be out of mana. The Storm Hammer comes in now as well. God Strength out. Do they have the damage? A last little bit of boost up from Soaring will be able to get the Storm Spirit out alive. He broke that glass in case of emergency in the lockdown. It wasn't enough to get the kill, and it means that the God Strength, the Wukong's command, both down now, but it looks like they still want to carry on going. Use that God Strength towards the tier 2 tower.
Did somebody give him a Healing Lotus or something? He got way too much mana for my taste from that Soul Ring. 170 shouldn't have been able to get him that far.
Kyron Sanj. So it's a boost up again, right, on the for the Soul Ring. Yeah, Monkey King gonna get caught out here. Sunray comes through, good double balance strike, but he is still gonna go down. Icarus dive away for Kaori, and yeah, Na'Vi, it's their time to back themselves where the Avalanche comes through, jump in now as well. Ravage, though, they're gonna be able to connect the Supernovas out as well. Do they have the control out? They're gonna be able to get the kill out on the tablet. He will fall, and now they change targets. They take down Astegore too. Can they go for any more? Again, the Storm Spirit, well, he's gonna be full health, full mana now. Doesn't have that TP scroll, so having to get out the old-fashioned way here. Denton, is he gonna be so lucky? No TP scroll here for the Tiny, so again, he has to walk himself out, but they change targets. They want this tier 2 tower on the side of Na'Vi.
This global silence is so important for Rabbit Yagi. It feels like they cannot play without it. So when you use it, unless it is a singular support that you're going for, you shouldn't go for a fight. Team fight wise, Na'Vi are way too strong, and it's not because of their offensive potential of their spells, it's because of their defensive potential. You've got a pipe and you've got the extra armor from the Sven. If you look at Robotyagi's heroes, they don't necessarily have that extra damage that finishes you off. Let's see, Sandking has been found.
He gets that burst strike away, though, is Ari. Ari was the one to go for the old scepter as well, so he picks that one up.
It's fine.
Yeah, we're not seeing the old Atos into the Gleipnir that we used to see from the Hoodwink.
Yeah, it is now long gone, especially with the changes to the Gleipnir. It would make little sense for a Hoodwink to get it. We might see Mjolnirs in the future if we get some greedy Hoodwinks.
Yeah. But overall, game state wise, 11 to 15. But like you were saying, Na'Vi, they still have this lead. So, what do they try and do? What's the game plan coming out? Are they waiting out next? Because they still have the Aegis for what? Another? Okay, never mind. They don't have the Aegis because it's gonna go down in 7 seconds. So, is it waiting out that next Roshan? Is it just pickoffs into objectives, or is it just hit and run? Try and get that pickoff, back yourself away, carry on farming. What's the timing situation here for Na'Vi?
Na'Vi are strong right now, and they're probably going to be strong forever. But Robotyagi still have that better opportunity at pickoffs and spreading around the map. So hit and run for Robotyagi, and the Na'Vi run forward. If you can find the openings, it's going to be awesome for you.
They are going to be able to get the pickoff onto the tiny. Boom secures that kill, though. The Anchor Smash comes out, and look at this one already. They're smoked up. Yuragi, he's looking, might be able to get the jump on. Stormhammer comes through. No Astegore for 34 seconds. Both supports are down, but the creep wave isn't here to put that momentum onto the tier 3 tower. It's still caught around the dire tier 1 area.
That is the advantage for Robotyagi. They're very good at shoving out the waves. They do it quite fast. They're also very good at pickoffs, so once Na'Vi spread around, they have to be increasingly careful about showing themselves. You can see how Monkey King is being very conservative about going for that wave.
Sand King is here. Spirit's going to set up the epicenter. The Storm Spirit's going to be close now as well, but Yuragi's already TP'd down. Do they have the reveal? Spirit going to try and run himself away from this one. The balance strike just on the very edge. It will connect. The slowdown, but the Stormhammer, Yule Scepter on the overlap. No, it was the Sand King's Yule Scepter there as well, but he is still going to go down. Spirit, the damage it is going to be if Ari gets it there with the sharpshooter.
And they're looking towards the storm. There's the
they're
anchor.
going to try and go. Dead in the Water comes out. He's got that Ravage now as well. The leash, though, the Storm Spirit going to be able to get that Ball Lightning away. And his teammates weren't there in time to capitalize on it. So, boom. Didn't want to throw out that Ravage for nothing. No kill there onto the Storm.
One of those moments where you want to stand on top of that in the water and hope that the Storm Spirit doesn't click on it, but clicks on you.
Yeah, he was able to break it, get himself away, and just had the angle here. Boom, though, they get another kill. Silencer will go down. Yuragi going to be coming up onto the high ground here as well. The God Strength does come through. Yeah, no fortification here for the side of Robotyagi, so it's going to be a tier 3 tower. Might even be a lane of racks from this one. There is still a tier 2 in the bottom lane, so as much as they want to Na'Vi, they can't pressure for the Megas, but it might be a lane and a half worth of racks coming out here for the side of Na'Vi.
Yuragi, he saw the Metamorphosis being popped, and he decided to move away. They still have the siege creep, so maybe they can get this down, but it's still very dangerous.
Yeah, the illusions from the Terrorblade doing work onto the siege creep. It's not going to be enough. They get the breakout onto the siege, but yeah, this melee racks, it does regen up, but in a very precarious position coming through the damage. A couple more right clicks from Yuragi. If he hadn't backed himself away, he would have been able to get that melee racks.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he backed out. I guess not having the Metamorphosis on Robotyagi just gives an opportunity for Na'Vi to just run down that mid lane. They did leave a ward in the enemy base, which Robotyagi are not going to be taking down, it seems. So you do have an opportunity to go again.
Yeah. And we'll see what the teams are going to do here. Roshan could potentially be back up in the next 3 minutes. I wish we got the actual timing back. Just as the casters, we got to see when the actual timing was.
You just look at the clock. It's going to be an earlier Rosh respawn. Look at the clock. It's now actually accurate.
Oh, yeah, it's actually... Oh, did they fix it? Because when it first changed, that pip wasn't there anymore. Here at Storm Spirit, got to get the jump in now. What can they do onto the Storm? They're going to be able to go. There's going to be a lot of lockdown. They have the leash. They have the lockdown. They have the kill. Yuragi, they're going to be able to come in, finish this, racks up. God Strength coming back up for the next couple of seconds now as well. Fortification this time, it will be up. But where do they want to go? God Strength comes out. He's going to go towards the tier 3 tower. So they are going to go for both of these lanes here on the side of Na'Vi.
See, Rosh is up. early on. It does work now, so you just need to be very good at looking at the watch. So
yeah, because like I said, I know when they first changed it, it broke, and that pick, which just wasn't accurate at all.
I never even looked at it, and now it's it actually works.
Come back.
Thank God.
Danson going to try and do what he can here. Tree Toss comes in as well. They've taken down that melee racks in the mid lane. The creeps doing the work out onto the range racks now as well. While the heroes, they focus down this top lane of racks again. Tier 2 tower is still there though. Do they have the damage out? No, they're going to get the lockdown. Sand King. Yulscepter comes up once again, that epicenter. It's not going to be doing a whole lot onto Yuragi. The Ravage gets thrown out now as well. Ari gets him with the sharpshooter. And they just stop Snowy in his tracks. Monkey King. Sanctity is going to be tossed back. Do they have the protection? The global sounds comes out now as well. They will be able to at least get that kill onto the Monkey King. But they lost 2 melee racks. They lost the Sand King and Navi. It's not for free, but they do get some good objectives onto this one. Yuragi even stops to get a little bit of farm and a bouncy rune on his way out.
They forced out the last glyph. They got both of the melee racks, the mid and the top lane. Sure, it's not full lanes of racks, but ultimately when there's a fight somewhere out on the map, those racks will fall just naturally. So Navi are in such a dominant position right now, and this Sven is just not slowing down whatsoever. He still has a 9-second BKB. This is what we were talking about in this game in particular. He doesn't really have to pop the BKB all that much early to not get kited. He has so many things to protect him.
Astigor, he was there, then he won. That's a magic trick coming through as well. Yeah, like you say, gem on the ground, and that's just, again, I know Astigor doing a bit of scouting there, but if he gets jumped on like that, the Sven just, boom, makes him disappear.
I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. Ta-da! That's the treatment that this poor Silencer got.
Oh, they're gonna be able to get the catch out onto Danton and Danton. Okay, blinks over the Stormhammer now as well. Ghost Scepter comes out, but the Sunray, do they have the control past that TP? The damage, they absolutely. That's a 2k health tiny. It was a 2k health tiny anyway.
What the hell? 2 hits, 1300 damage, and this. I mean, the Phoenix also did 1300 damage. Both the Sven and the Phoenix very similar amounts there.
Yeah, and how do you even stop this Sven, my dude? This is just, he's got the Nemesis curse. He is full offensive. The Harpoon coming out, so even if you do get away, Swift Blink for that attack speed coming through now. It's like Yuragi, he's just running absolutely riot in this game.
Yep. Getting away with everything. I mean, Yuragi has been the MVP of this series thus far. Even in the first game, he was crushing it. Now, I don't feel like anybody can challenge him.
No. It feels like you were talking about the Terrorblade. I mean, drop off. It feels like he never really got into this game here now. As well, the Butterfly is out the Manta style, but you look at Snowy 2-1-4. You compare that to the Sven 12-0-3 in 31 minutes here, and yeah, they're gonna be able to get themselves another Aegis. They might just look for Megas off this one. They might even look for the tier 4 Sand King. Yeah, you can't be there, Spirit. You cannot get caught out here. He does have his buyback available, but you don't want to spend that all willy-nilly. Yeah, they're gonna try and do something about this one.
Oh, God strength for 10.
Radiant are scanning.
Yuragi. Gan comes out. They see, does he want to blink himself forward here? The Stormhammer out onto the Ancients. Boom didn't go for that jump out either. Has that Ag Scepter, has the Pipe, has the Blink Dagger. Going to be able to get the Gem and the D-Ward as well. And I think this is going to be, like you always talking about, you can't just sit in your base, wait for them to come to you, so they're going to have to do something about this one. The Global Stance comes out now. What can they do, though?
He's not dying on
He's going to get that dive in, but yeah, look at all this protection coming through now. Boom. He still has that Ravage. He wants to pop it out. The Harpoon out now as well. So Yuragi backs himself away. Takes a lot of damage out, but the Ravage will come through. Do they want to recapitalize onto this one? The Supernova. Snowy going to try and do it again with the Manta style. Does he get that Sunder off? He doesn't. Yuragi steps in. BKB. He has the damage, and now Denton going to be the next one to fall. Yuragi, he is on a godlike ultra kill spree. Sand King trying to get himself away from this one. Can they go for this one now as well? But yeah, damage coming through. Yuragi doesn't get that rampage off the Burrow Strike. It's going to slow him down now. Yuragi, it's a lot of damage. He popped this Aegis. What can they do? They've got 3 heroes here between them. They're going to be able to get the clean up. Ari and Yuragi, the last couple alive. The Vortex comes out onto the Sven. The Sven's already used that BKB. Does he have the damage to go through this one? The Ghost Scepter comes out. Yuragi, he's going to try and stand his ground. This is what we're talking about now. With the BKB being down, is he going to be kited to death? Yuragi, he does get low. The Vortex comes back in. They lose 4. Well, Ari, he's going to try the Burrow Strike now. It's going to be a full 5-man wipe. Great fight back. It cost them 3 buybacks, though, on the side of Robert Yagi. Only 1 on the side of Navi, but still, they are losing pressure. They are losing health on their tier 4 towers.
Oh, beautiful. The way they turned it around when the Sven still had the Aegis, that is how they won it, with beautiful stunts from Spirit. This guy is the one who made it all happen. And the thing is that the Storm and the Sand King are such amazing heroes at the end of the fight when there's chaos, when you don't really know when the cooldowns of the spells are happening, what's with the items, what's going on. They're buying back. Storm is jumping from the base, and Spirit just keeps on getting those multiple man stuns out. Rabotyagi, because of that fight, still in the game, because that was a huge swing, Rob, in their favor.
Yeah, and you have to look now buyback-wise. You know, only Sven and Hoodwink have this. So we'll see Yuragi, Ari, if they want to try and get aggressive with this one, because they know now 4 buybacks being pushed out by the side of Robert Yagi. Robert Yagi, how do they defend against this? You know, because they know the one and done in terms of lives now, and the time is coming back up. That BKB's up for the Sven, the God Strength now as well. You're gonna have that Ravage in about 25 seconds. Supernova's coming back up. Navi, is this a march down the mid lane, look to try and take a fight and end it, or do Robert Yagi now have? Oh, they're gonna be able to get a catch out onto the Terrorblade. Terrorblade with the Burrow Strike, it comes in onto the Monkey King. What can you do with this one? The Global Stance comes out. Monkey King, he is gonna go down. Sanctity being caught out once again. Kaori has that Icarus dive away, but the toss back. Boom! He used his blink to get onto that one. It's going to be on cooldown now as well. The Storm Spirit, he makes a jump in. Backlines are going to be able to get the kill onto the Phoenix. They're forcing Na'Vi back to the high ground. Even after using all these buybacks, Na'Vi, they are still being pushed back by Robert Yagi.
This is what we talked about. If it's the early mid-game, Na'Vi are going to have the advantage because they are the more experienced team, understanding a little bit how to play slow, how to get to a position to fight those Roche pits and stuff. But if it comes to long extended fights, long extended games, and all chaos breaks loose, the amazing instincts from all of the Rabotyagi players, the way that they're going in, the way that they're using their spells, it is just beautiful to watch. And they've made this game be even right now. Sure, you're still 2 waves of racks behind, 2 lanes of racks behind, but you are most definitely back into this game.
Yeah, and we can see here that, you know, they brought it down from, I'm not sure what the lead was, you know, going all the way up here, about a 15,000, 14,000 net worth lead after those last 2 fights. It's down to 1,000. You know, there's nothing in it between these 2 teams now. Well, there's a couple of sets of racks, but what's a couple of sets of racks between opponents?
Nothing. Basically nothing, right? At this point in the game, it's fine. We talked about it throughout the game that Rabotyagi have a decent lineup to shove out the waves. Storm, Tiny, Sand King, and then you have the Terrible Illusions, which, sure, they are not as strong in split pushing as they used to be, but when you have a Butterfly, one of your illusions just shoves out the waves so easily.
Yeah, so we'll see what they're going to be able to do.
It's a BKB now.
As they're looking for the group up though on the side of Na'Vi. You can see that Yuragi Ari already still here, and now they are going to move themselves through a ward on the side of Na'Vi. You're moving through that die ward. Did they get the D ward out? They do. But look at this, the smoke out already for the side of Robert Yagi. They are ready for a response. The only problem is, again, these tier 4 towers being pushed by the 2 lanes of creep. So the longer they're outside the base here on the side of Robert Yagi, the more of these buildings they're going to lose. Double catapult wave being pulled aside by the building, just the building, generic building here, so the Silence are going to be able to do a lot of work onto this creep wave, as it looks like once again they are going to hold. But Na'Vi, is it just a case of waiting around for this next Roshan respawn, trying to take a fight around the pit?
Pretty much. You do have the advantage in terms of lanes shoving in because you do have 2 waves of racks, so it is safer now to just take it very easy. It's going to be the 3rd Roach, right? Am I not mistaken?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it is, then you're gonna have the double Ravage, and at that point you should be winning the fight. So you have to make that happen. But also Rabotyagi will fight that Roche. The advantage from Na'Vi there will be that they're probably gonna get into a position faster, and then gonna be fighting for from a better vision and all of that. It still doesn't change the fact that Rabotyagi at this point can win a fight even in unfavorable terms.
Yeah, and we'll see. Yeah, like you say, for Na'Vi, even if they don't win that fight, you know, even if they have to back themselves away, the time that they can waste for the side of Robert Yagi, that maybe they do, you know, keep the Silencer back in the base, just let him throw out the global silence to help out his teammates. But for the minute, the Silencer, he's on full base push duty, it feels like.
Yeah, he just wants to be in the base. Basically, your contribution from the fountain is the same as your contribution in the fight, or roughly the same. So.
Yeah. I mean, 11 stolen intelligence, though. Those curses coming out, the arcane, your curse, and the last word.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the only way I see him, he's making the enemy team be dumber, right? And if that would transfer to real life, then sure. But generally, staying in your base, my friend. If it's a pub, you can sometimes get an abandon because of this. I don't know if they fixed that.
Yeah, as long as he's farming up the creeps here. Oh, Spirit. Do they have the vision out to this one? Ari, though, he's got the scurry in here. The Monkey King's going to see him. The Bushwhack comes out. They'll be able to get the kill. He's got no buyback here. Spirit. Yeah, they're going to be able to get on top of the Phoenix. Oh, Phoenix, did he have enough to get the kill? Or did he get that supernova off? He's still silenced now. The jump comes in. He's silenced once again, but he's still going to live. The right clicks. It's not enough damage. He's still going to take a lot of tick damage, though. Look at this. They're going to go for a little bit more. Madstyle comes up with the Stormhammer. He doesn't get it at the right time. The Ravage. He's got the Terrorblade here. Yuragi with the BKB being out. Yeah, they have no buybacks on these cores. Oh, backlines. They do take down Kaori now, but it looks like Sanctity, they're just going to be waiting around. The toss comes out here, but the Bushwhack, it will be here. Tiny. Well, the Gush still doing a lot of damage. They're dead in the water, even with that Ghost Scepter, though. So they're just going to leave him for Sanctity. Sanctity gets this kill as he go for the tier 4 tower. So it's going to be a 2 versus 4. Yuragi, he's already used that BKB. What can he do? He's got that Satanic if he desperately needs it. But it looks like Navi looking to end the game right here, right now. Just going to get a little bit of a hop away here. Yuragi just trying to wait out. Yeah. And the jump comes in. Morel, the old Scepter comes out. Did he have any follow-up onto this one as well? The Balance Strike, he looks like connects with the Bushwhack. He does have the buyback on the Storm Spirit, but the GG is going to be called. They know it's over. They just give the second game over to Navi in this best of 5.
Yeah, the second that the Sven healed himself up with the Satanic, it was so easy for them to understand that there was no way that you can get him down here. But yeah, this is just the advantage of 2 lanes of Axe. What Navi needed to do is just chill, wait for an opportunity, and it just presented itself, right? And that was with Refresher being bought on the Silencer, double Global Silence. They don't manage to kill the Phoenix. So that second Global Silence, I think it was a bit of a miscommunication because Robotyagi stopped committing. If they continued committing, they might have been able to kill the Phoenix. You kill the Phoenix, and then it's a 4 versus 5 fight versus a Ravage still, but you can't get out of that. And I think the Terrorblade bought his BKB. It was 9 seconds, and unfortunately never got a chance to use it.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the other side there as well. Yuragi on the just completely opposite from Snowy. Snowy was looking to get that early farm out, looking to get himself into a good position. But like you say, potential to drop off there. On the other side, Yuragi, so aggressive, 18-1-5 on Yuragi, and really it was only. I mean, you look at Mirrell. Mirrell was the only one, getting. I don't know. I don't want to say getting aggressive on his own, because I think Robert Yagi did set some great pace in the early part of that game, but they never really got the jump out into the Sven. The Sven got 1 death in the entire game, and it was that, the third to last fight or something like that, where they were able to get the kills. So Robert Yagi, again, a bit of a better step up. Maybe again in the third game, they step up again, able to get that pressure out onto all of Navi. But it feels that they are going in the right direction, just not there yet for Robert Yagi. On the other side, Navi, great game to weather the storm early on and coming back with that pressure and winning the game.
Yeah, for sure. Right. Robert Yagi, in terms of movements, in terms of kills, they did a lot of things right here, but what ended up happening is that the early objectives didn't go their way. I think it was probably on the Terrorblade to make it happen, or maybe prior setups, maybe faster movements around the map dispersing when you see a Tidehunter and they kind of poked at him a couple of times. There's a couple of things they could have done better, but generally they had a much better idea how to utilize their heroes. Unfortunately, Navi's still better.
Yeah, and Navi, they are looking for this clean sweep here. Robert Yagi, they're looking to spoil the party in the next game, but it is all in Navi's favor going into this third game, which could potentially be the final game of the series. It is a best of 5, though, so Robert Yagi can pull it back, which, I hope they do. I hope we get to see even more Dota coming along today, but for now, Navi, they are in the driver's seat. They are going towards the end game. They are looking for it in the third and final game. We'll see how it's going to go right after this break. Welcome back, everybody, to what could be the final game of the Grand Finals. I sure hope not. I hope Rabbit Yagi, again, make those steps towards getting a game off Na'Vi. But Na'Vi, they are looking good to go here. 2-0 up against Rabbit Yagi. And we're going to be able to get ourselves into this third draft. And hopefully we're going to be able to step up. But let's see what they do different here on both teams. Because we've seen now 2 games in a row. Na'Vi, it doesn't matter what they draft up. It doesn't matter how that early game goes. They take control of the mid game and able to push it on, take that win out. So Rabbit Yagi, hurry. What have they got up the sleeve? What secret heroes are we going to get out here? Are we going to get something like the Wisp carry? Do we have that, Underlord position 5 coming out? The Undying mid? What is it going to be here for Rabbit Yagi?
Okay, I at least thought that you were going to be coming up with something that could be a gotcha pick, but everything that you just said is like Rabbit Yagi throwing in the towel would be more fair to the viewers than then picking what you just suggested. It's hard to say, really. In these circumstances, you probably do start feeling a little bit helpless if you're Rabbit Yagi, even though that's not the case, but it's from our perspective who are watching it from the side, right? Mm-hmm. They who are playing that game probably feel like, oh, dude, we killed them so much. We found a couple of pickoffs. We played fast, and it just wasn't enough. What are we to do, right? So usually you cannot shorten this gap that is obvious between the 2 teams inside of a series. It's very hard, especially for a young team with probably not a big team behind them, giving them all the info what they did wrong and what they need to fix. So if I was them, I'd continue going with how it started, right? So just play whatever you think you're good at and give it your best, and at this point in time, that is your best bet. Once this series is done, then you can analyze. Then in the coming months you can get better. But I'm losing faith that they can beat. Not maybe they can take a game. I still am in the 3-1 basket potential, but beating them in this best of 5 grand finals from what we saw in game 1 and 2 does seem unlikely.
Yeah, and I think even if they do fall down here, Rabbit Yagi, they can still be proud of their run. Coming through the groups, in, what was it, 3rd place, that 2-2. So, nobody was really looking at them to really pull up trees. But they came through up against OG, Apple City Gang. They took a game off Na'Vi in the upper bracket final and then made that run. I mean, I couldn't really say a run through the lower bracket final because they were just straight into the lower bracket final up against Zero Tenacity. But established players are playing up against you, and they're taking wins. They're taking victories on board. So, okay, maybe it's not their day today. They do get that PA first pick coming out here, but I still think they can look back at this. And like you say, if they don't have that coach, if they don't have the analysts behind them, they're just doing this as a 5-man team themselves. Coming up against some of these bigger teams that have a lot more resources behind them, they have played really well all throughout this event. And I think they can still be proud. Like I say, even if they go down in this game or they only get a 1 game, it's still something for them to look back and go, yeah, we did really well this event.
The problem is that now you gave the Sanctity his best hero. Tiny is his best hero, has been for years. And, both of the games you kind of demolish him in the mid lane. And despite that, you lost the game. So what's going to happen when he's playing his best hero? That is what scares me. Though, just a quick reminder, the time when Rabbit Yagi did win versus Na'Vi in the first game of the upper bracket final, Sanctity was playing the Tiny. So maybe a sign of a comeback.
Yeah, maybe. They do ban out the Phoenix themselves, going through the bans quickly. So the Dark Series was a tied TA, Keeper of the Light, and the Phoenix being taken out. On the other side, the MP, the Tinker, as well as that Jakiro and the AA. So some of those big supports being taken out does open up the window here for the first pick Phantom Assassin. But if you're Na'Vi, you see this first pick Phantom Assassin coming out, that can't flex off. It's not going to be a mid. It's not going to be an offlane of the supports. What are you drafting into this? What's the big hero you think that Na'Vi are going to be able to pull out? Maybe potentially in the offlane that deals with this Phantom Assassin, keeps it down, keeps it from hitting that full power spike.
Medusa, let's go. That's what I want. That's literally the laning counter to the PA, because you do not care about the daggers. They don't slow you down. Inhalation facet does not allow it. It will just be the way to go, if you ask me. Considering that they banned out the AA, they probably do not feel super confident in picking a Medusa, because Medusa doesn't care about the AA whatsoever. But I would still want them to pick it up. Even here, just get it right now, because Rabbit Yagi could very easily get it in the next 2 picks.
Yeah, it is funny that, I mean, I think in the first draft we spent a lot of time building up that Medusa. It's going to be the Warlock coming out here, so you do get that partnership. Yeah, denying that out for PA. That was, I think, the #1 partnership in the past few events here for the PA. But yeah, it feels like, we spent so much time building up that Medusa. We might not even see it today. It's not even being banned out. Both teams just ignoring that Medusa pick.
I don't know why. One hero that Robert Yagi could go for here is a Pango. That is a flex pick, and you do want some extra minus armor with the PA. We might see Slardar on 18. Tusk is also a great one. So I think what they're doing right now is that they're probably trying to build to enable this PA in the best possible ways. Your Magnuses, your Slardars, your Pangos, that is going to be the way to go.
Okay, yeah, and we'll see what else they want to pick up here. Just going to have a little bit of a conversation. So with this Tusk coming out, is that going to be the lane partner, do you think, for the Phantom Assassin? Is this going to be the safe lane already? Or no, we see the Ringmaster here being picked up. And again, first time today, we're going to see that Ringmaster. I don't think in the last 2 games, we didn't see that one being banned out either. So that is going to be the 5 and the 1, it looks like, here for Robert Yagi.
Yeah, for sure. You do want some save, though saving versus a Tiny is not the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it works out. But a little bit of team fight, solid laning overall. It is not a very squishy support versus a Tiny. You don't want to play squishy support, so you want somebody who's going to be able to survive the Avatos combo if it is a mid lane Tiny and they don't decide to move it to the safe lane. The Beastmaster making it through. PA is generally very good versus the Beastmaster, so it might be a Yuragi hero in the safe lane if Boom doesn't want to play it into a PA.
What's the idea behind the safe lane Beastmaster? Instead of like something else that boosts up, is it just because of how quickly you get online and how quick you can take the objectives with like the Helm of the Overlord?
It changes the game in a sense that all 5 of your heroes come online at like 15-20 minutes, right? The PA not going to be fighting until her BKB. That can be 25. Sometimes even the BKB is not going to be enough. You're waiting for level 18 and so on and so forth. Beastmaster gets an Aghanim Scepter, and be it an offlane or a safe lane, he does go forward and he goes to fight. And then instead of having a carry that is farming, you have an offlaner that actually does contribute to the Beastmaster going for that aggressive play. And it also opens up potential for you to get a position 1 per se from the mid lane or something along those lines. So it gives you a little bit more flexibility in the draft, I think. And I mean, with that Aghanim Scepter, really, the damage output of the Beastmaster is so high that he really does go hand in hand, even with some of the great late game carries.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see. Like, say, if it's going to be that position, it could still be the position 1 Tiny to come out here as well. Both these cores that have been picked already can be flexed out. And they do have the last pick on Navi now as well. So they're going to be able to pick where they feel these lanes are going to be the most comfortable, I do believe. So, Rabbit Yagi looking for an offlaner. So, from the heroes you see already, is there anything you think here Rabbit Yagi could go for? The Darkseid's been banned out. There's still that Underlord. The Tidehunter got taken out as well by Rabbit Yagi. But, yeah, still the Underlord, still the Centaur coming through. The Bristleback is still there as well. Doom available too. Is there anything you really like for this matchup for Rabbit Yagi?
Pango, Bristleback, and Slardar, the third one, because it's going to be the last pick for Navi, as you mentioned, meaning that they could counter the Slardar in the lane. But in that order, Magnus would have also been a good one.
Okay. Navi, we'll see what the next ban to come through is. And again, for them, keeping this flexed out, so we'll see what Robbie Yagi thinks. They're banning out the Terrorblade. They think this is still going to be the mid-Tiny. They think it's still going to be the off-lane Beastmaster. Taking out these cores here as the Abaddon gets taken care of by Navi, a hero that, again, seems to have fully dropped off, it feels like, in the current match, or at least in the CCT, that I've not been seeing a whole lot of him. So, yeah, just making sure that there's no curveballs coming out here for Robbie Yagi.
It's generally a good Abaddon game because of the purges of the Fatal Bonds. He takes it from himself, can remove from one other hero. Can run in, great to counter the Beastmaster Roar. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, another hero that's also not in the meta that you could pick up is like a Dawnbreaker. That is a good turnaround potential hero, and you don't really have anything to stop her from joining in. But they will go for a Slardar. I have to say, this is the one that now could get punished laning wise. This is like an amazing lane for, let's say, a Troll. A poor Slardar and the Tusk would have such a bad time. I know you're a Troll hater, but it's just such a good game for him. Or maybe an Ursa to punish them, a Monkey King as well. There's so many options.
Yeah, to be fair to Troll Warlord, I've seen it, again over the past couple of weeks. It does win more than it loses. Or, it may be 50-50, but the hero doesn't feel as bad. No major changes coming out on his kit, but it doesn't feel as bad as it did when it was just, okay, I pop an ultimate and I run. The big thing is when you're playing up against the illusion heroes, and it gets caught out on illusion, in its ultimate form, and you're just like, yeah, okay, this is why the hero still feels bad when it gets caught out like that. But for the most part, Troll hasn't been awful. We'll see what Na'Vi, just coming through this reserve time, what they want to be going for. Yeah, I wouldn't mind something like the Bloodseeker either, just to mess with the Slardar in the fights. I think it's good in the actual trade-off in the lane stage too. But whether they think that's going to be enough, you get a Rupture out with a Tiny Toss. It does so much damage. If the hero just melts in mid-air, they are going to go for that Troll Wall of those. So we'll see how much this is going to match up. Yuragi, I mean, they have that 2 win buffer coming out for the side of Na'Vi as well, so they can try stuff like this if they are feeling comfortable into the draft.
So this is, I think, the draft where I feel like Rabutyagi could take it the easiest out of all the 3 games, now this being the 3rd one. The reason I'm thinking that way is because Navi's draft in this one, in particular, has room to... You have room to make big mistakes. Let's put it that way, right? It is that kind of a draft. It's because the troll sometimes uses the ulti, gets out of the position, everybody follows him, and then you just get destroyed. Plus, Rabutyagi have solid poke and amazing ability to blow you up. Usually we don't see this physical damage heroes be that way, but with the Slardar, PA, and the Tusk, somebody just gets annihilated, and that can be a really good good start. So I'm liking what Rabutyagi have. Can they make this work? Well, it's gonna rely a lot on how their laning stage goes, and I feel like that's where they're running into a lot of issues, especially in the Slardar lane.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see if they are going to be able to get as aggressive as they did in the last game. You'll be able to pull that through into the mid-game, keep that momentum going if they do. On the other side, though, Na'Vi, they are 2 games to the good. They are looking so confident in this. Even if they fall behind, in the series, they're like, okay, it's fine. We can pull it back and get themselves into a good position, which they did in the last game. They didn't let that early pressure bother them. They were just straight in on the fights and able to take control in the mid-game. Like, say, Sven, what was it? Something like 18, 1 and 50, just bonkers numbers coming out there for Yuragi. As we get ourselves into the 3rd game, potentially the final game, Na'Vi looking for that clean sweep. We've got Rabutyagi looking for the reverse sweep, so there's going to be some sweeping going on either way. But who is going to be able to take it? Because Na'Vi 1 game away here from locking in this best of 5 grand finals.
Yeah, it's I really want to look at how this laning stage goes. Bottom lane, sure, you're gonna lose 100% on Rabutyagi, but Ember Spirit should do well versus the Tiny. First couple of waves, okay for the Tiny, but as you get more levels, the Ember is doing fine. And then that top lane, I think that is the X factor for me. If the PA can get an early Battle Fury, good timings in this game, it's gonna be fine. If the Beastmaster and the Wind Ranger apply pressure, which, because the Wind Ranger sometimes you're capable of doing, it is going to be a rough one for Rabutyagi.
How does the Beastmaster build up here? Is it going to be the Axis to try and pair with the Power Shot to try and go for those kill shot? I assume Mario went for the kill shot faster. Yeah, he did. Is it like, you try and go for the quick damage, or does he still build up into the boards, into that inner beast, and try and just look to whittle away at the Phantom Assassin's health in the lane?
I think you get both the Wild Axes and the Boars.
Yeah.
That's usually what I see. Wild Axes to be able to farm the stacks, if it does come to it, and Boars to pressure a bit. Generally, the PA does do well in that lane, and Tusk is starting in the top lane.
Are they looking for a quick first blood, or is he straight out to the twin gate here?
Let's see. I think you stay when you're already here. Nah, he's going through.
Okay. Maybe he was expecting Ari Boom to be a little bit further up, but yeah, the body blocks come out into the creep, so we will head down to the bottom lane now, but gonna keep the sudden Na'Vi guessing. You can see that the way that the Boom's playing this one as well, the power shots, the axe is flying through, so not comfortable to come up onto the creep wave until as soon as the toast, yeah, look at this one. Yeah, Boom, straight into that lane now.
Yep. So, because the Tusk was a little bit late to the lane, the Slardar is going to be the one doing the shenanigans, pulling the waves in the bottom lane, and the Tusk is going to be cosplaying an offlaner for a little bit.
Yeah, and you see the chase coming out already here from the Warlock. Kaori, what's he going for? Not scaled anything up. It's actually going to be the Fatal Bonds here. When Axis comes through, Yuragi trying to put the pressure onto Denton, but he was immediately away from the right-click range of that Troll Warlord, so he's going to take some from the Fatal Bonds, but overall, yeah, Denton, it's only going to be a little bit of damage because it is only level 1. No Shadow Word there either.
Oh, very smart shards to stop him from connecting the creep waves. So, good job, Denton.
Okay, yeah. Playing around that one, yeah, not giving that one up. He is going to be able to trade off.
What is this range creep doing? Man, I hate range creep so much. They just randomly move sometimes.
Yeah. But it still looks like it's coming out. I mean, it's going to be underneath the tier 1 tower here for the Troll, but the Troll shouldn't really have too much trouble farming these creeps up, even in the ranged form, and still looking to put the pressure out onto his own creeps as well.
Doing a solid job. I think they're going to be able to put the lane in a decent-ish position. Yeah, the waves are coming, and it is going to be Na'Vi doing a great job at putting the lanes in a good spot for them once again. And Spirit only got 3 CS out of it, so this Slardar struggle are going to continue.
Yeah, what's the recovery path here for the Slardar? You know, if he does kind of get so far behind on these last hits, if he's okay soaking the XP, but how does he get back up? Is he going to be looking for his teammates to be making stacks in the triangle for him? You know, maybe seeing the Tusk rotate off, get those double stacks out, and really help him build up that way? Or is it a case of, okay, I've hit, you know, a decent level, I can rotate through, I can sprint into different lanes and look for pickoffs?
You suck at killing stacks with the Slardar. This is why I was, you know, when I was stating the offlaners that I would like to see that Slardar was third on the menu of those minus armor heroes, is because he doesn't come back into the game. Oh, toss back in the mid lane.
It's a lot of damage out onto Morel here. Morel's going to be able to get that Sleight of Fist off here, so dodging off some damage. But yeah, Sanctity, he's given as good as he gets here, it looks like, in that mid lane. The Tiny, is it going to be... It's going to be the bottle out here, so Sanctity already has that on board, has that regen in the bottle if he needs it. So yeah, you look at the last hits here, keeping it very even with the Ember Spirit.
But you need to be careful. You're always going to be taking a bit more damage because you're 0 armor at the start. That is when the Ember does have the advantage. So you make a couple of mistakes, a couple of double impacts come through, and suddenly you can't get close to the creep. So I think that's what Morel is going to be looking to do in this lane.
Yeah, and you can see that Morel just keeping that pressure on, invalidating both those bottle charges out onto Sanctity. Sanctity, at least again, he's finding the last hits, he's getting the tree tosses in there as well. He's keeping it even with the Ember. I'm surprised the Ember isn't a little bit further ahead in terms of the actual last hits, because look at that, the Troll up at 28, Phantom Assassin 23, and there's a big drop-off after the Beastmaster, 14 and 12 for the 2 mid laners. So again, the 2 mid laners putting a lot of pressure out here. Kaori trying to block out the camp. Spirit's going to be able to get the block out onto this Lotus Pool, though, so not going to be able to get the contest out on the Warlock. And yeah, Spirit just says, how do you think you're going to get past me? There's no way in for that Warlock to contest onto the Lotus Pool.
Yeah, you know, usually when we say he's fat in Dota, we mean that he's farmed. But this Lard are definitely not farmed, just the wrong kind of fat, it seems. But
yeah, it's
things
like
are
when
not looking great for him.
You know, you've got that smaller kid running at you and you just have your hand on the head and he can't reach it. You know, that's exactly what that was.
Yeah, that's those are fun cartoonish stuff. I haven't ever seen that in real life, but I would like to see it.
Mid lane, rotation coming in from Denton towards Sanctity, and Sanctity's got a decent amount of health left, trying to get towards that level 6 soon as well. Sleight of Fist coming in onto Sanctity though, and Morel, he was actually one taking a lot more pressure here. The Avatos combo, it is up for the Tiny, so see if they want to try and go into this one. The Ice Shards, are they going to try and make a move? Is there a Snowball up on the Tusk? He is level 3, doesn't have that Snowball though. It's going to be the 1 point into the Ice Shards, 2 into the tag team. What can they do? Denton comes in onto this one with a TP immediately, so he pulls that Ripcord, gets himself out, and Denton just out for a walk, it feels like, here on the Tusk. You're walking himself past Sanctity, and Sanctity's like, all right, mate. He's like, yeah, cool. You're neither one going on each other.
The biggest problem is that the Troll can stay versus both the Tusk and the Slaughter, and he's still going to be the one farming. Right?
Yeah.
So means that these side lanes are going really, really well for them. And Snowy is even dropping low. Needs to be a bit careful.
Yuragi, he comes with the Twin Gate. They want to try and go into this one. A good power shot might be able to get the kill. And it's going to be...
man.
It has to go. He stops him mid-strike, but the axes. It just come through here. Boom's going to be able to get the Hawk off now as well. Morel gets the kill onto Boom. So Yuragi, he did rotate up here, looking for the kill out onto Snowy. But with that rotation from the Ember Spirit, just puts a spoke in the wheels here for Yuragi. And he's still going to kill out onto Astagor. But they give up the first blood. They give a kill up onto the Beastmaster here too. So a really good pickup here for the Phantom Assassin. Both assists, but it's a little bit of bump up on that gold.
Yeah, when he saw the slide of fist there, Yuragi stopped. But if the Ember didn't come, I think Yuragi gets in time to use the Whirling Axis to save his Beastmaster for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And then, boy, is it a rough one for Robotyagi. So very nice rotation coming out from Morel. I feel like his performance in this series has really been top notch.
Yeah, and again, I think that's something that you have to look at. That last season, Robert Yagi didn't even make it through to the playoffs here as boom, big jump in coming through, 3 heroes on the lockdown, and boom will go down. But yeah, Robert Yagi, they've stepped up between events, you know, and it's not like there's a long time between seasons as well. There's like, what, a week and a half before we get going again? So, for, you know, a week and a half between they stepped themselves up group stage, they got themselves just through, and then the playoffs, they've stepped up again. And again, newer players, I don't even know how old these players are, so they have good potential for growth, and this is what we want to see. These online events that help them grow as a team, help them get to that potential here. Astigo gets caught out.
Shrine.
Yeah, we'll see. No contest on this one. Can't get himself there in time, but there is going to be the avalanche coming through here. Denton, can he run himself away from this one? Kaori on the other side. He did take that. I keep calling it a shard, you know, because it used to be the wisdom shard, the wisdom rune, but they do get the wisdom shrine on the other side. And Ari, the kill onto Denton, so not a bad trade here for Na'Vi.
It's not bad because they got their shrine on the other side, right? If both shrines went for Robotyagi, then this would have been fine. But in the end, Na'Vi are gonna be okay with what happened. However, Robotyagi, they do have a very far into PA, so they did slow down the Beastmaster somewhat. So this laning stage is not too bad for him.
Ari in trouble. Taming the Beast comes out. He's going to be hit by the Impalement Arts as well. Twice the Blood Grenade Snowball coming in now as well. Ari, can he get anything from this one? He throws the Power Shot out, but it was just a desperation play there. Won't actually be able to get a kill from it.
How many stacks did he get for the Beastmaster? And not a single one. So now Boom is stacking for himself. And even coming to help with the rune. In the end, Morel, that's a beautiful play. Man, this guy's really doing every little thing right. Very bright future might await this young man.
And we'll see a rotation coming through from the Tiny Sanctity. What's he going to be able to do? No runes, nothing like that to get himself in on this. So just looking for the harass out, looking to help his teammates engage. But it is nighttime here. Spirit going to be caught out the rotation. There's going to be the Whirling Axes now into the Avatar, into Spirit's death. Meanwhile, that's going on the Boom. He will go down, so it's offlaner for offlaner. And yeah, Robert Yagi hitting the similar timing for these rotations and really making Na'Vi pay when they do rotate heroes like this.
This is where I see the difference in skill, though, and difference in understanding of what you need to do. Is that when Robotyagi are getting kills, their pressure on the tower is not as high as the pressure on the tower of the other side. But they might be able to trade this. I mean, the PA is going ham on the top tower as well as the Troll going ham on the bottom one.
He does get that tier 1 tower on the bottom, laying it out, and it looks like, do they want to try and set up for a defense? Na'Vi might just let this tier 1 tower go here. Denton is slow. Snowy, yeah, they're going to be able to get the trade. They even give that last hit over to Snowy, so Snowy going to get himself a little bit closer now towards that Battle Fury, and only really the recipe gold away. He's going to have enough gold now for that broadsword. Going to be a great time here on the Battlefield. Didn't stop off for the Orb of Corrosion. Might go back for that one a little bit later on. But it's still be a really good timing for the PA.
It's just not that great of an item any longer. People just go for the Orb of Blight and they feel like it's enough because the Corrosion was nerfed. You get the same amount of minus armor from the Blight and the Orb of Corrosion. So then you're not really looking to finish it off. I'm really liking how this one is looking for Robotyagi. Best start of the game just yet for them.
Yeah, we'll see if they're going to be able to carry this on here. Morel, like you say, Morel being that playmaker, even though he's only 1-0-1, he has hit these rotations. He's hit the putting the Sker into Na'Vi. It feels like just a little bit early on here. He's going to be able to get himself an AD rune. So see if he's going to hit any timings off this here as well. He's got himself the power treads out, over corrosion, go the way of that Ember Spirit, so he can carry on with the chase down here, get that damage off. And it looks like on the other side, though, Na'Vi looking to put the pressure onto Spirit once again. He doesn't have this tower to defend himself, so a good shackle. Does it connect onto the tree? I don't know what the angle is on that one. They hit him with the Chaotic Offering now, as well. The slowdown, the Whirling Axes come through, and it should be enough. Yeah, the Shadow Word should finish the job. Yuragi, he gets that final last hit out with the axe. Now the TP down to the bottom lane. Boom. Wheel of Wonder will be used here. Do they have the lock-in? He's not got... Oh, he's already used the roar. The TP away from Denton. The shackles, though, it's going to stop them in the tracks. Avatos, and Boom will get the double kill. He will live here as well. Really nice turnaround from the side of Na'Vi.
back to the game, and he decided not to go for an Aghanim Scepter, understanding that it is going to be taking way too much time, and just goes for the Helm of the Dominator. So now, with that creep, he might be able to pressure the top lane despite losing his tower.
Yeah, meanwhile, mid lane, Ember Spirit, he has an AD rune going now as well. It's going to have the Searing Chains out onto Sanctity. Sanctity got the Avatos combo off onto him. Doesn't want to stick around here. Oh, the PA though, maybe miscommunication. Ari, he's got those shackles. There's going to be the ultimate coming through from the troll. Ari with the voice line. So once again, you can take the boy out of OG, but you can't take the OG out of the boy though, with the tips coming through as well. As Searing Chains out here, that AD rune still got a little bit left, but can they get the damage out? Morel, he's going to jump himself away to a run.
Yeah, I didn't have the toss immediately there, but even with it, it probably wouldn't have been enough for a kill. Either way, I'm not sure what that play was with the PA. You get a Battle Fury. That is the time when you stop fighting, when you don't want to go for fights, when you just want to farm. And he came in behind the enemy tier 2 all alone.
Yeah.
So I guess he didn't hope that his supports are going to die that fast, that he's not going to have anybody in the vicinity, but what the hell?
I get it. The Ember Spirit's there. He's got an AD rune. He's stepping up onto the tiny. The PA's like, okay, I'll jump in. I'll help out my mid laner. And then the mid laner, he's gone. He's out of there. He's like, you're on your own there. But as it looks like, can they get the kill off now as well? No. Morel, he's going to get low. But the power shot, not enough damage to get the kill. So we'll see Na'Vi. They've got the wind up now. They've got the wind in the sails. Are they going to try and go for this tier 1 tower mid? Do they have enough behind them here? Because, well, Boom isn't here. Has the stacks up that he made himself in the jungle in this triangle. It looks like slowly they're just trying to whittle away this mid lane. The avalanche, it comes through, doesn't connect onto Morel. Could be able to get that remnant jump away.
Yeah, but this is going to be a very fast blink dagger timing on the time. He's been having quite a decent game, the best one so far for Sanctity in this series. And as you mentioned, this is one of his best heroes. He's very good at finding openings.
3-man rotation, they will get the kill onto Kyori at least. Kyori, well, he didn't have that chaotic offering up anytime soon. Not at least for another 10 seconds or so. So not going to be able to defend himself. And they do get, again, a nice kill coming out. And this is what they need to do on the side of Rabbit Yagi. Don't get disheartened because they've lost a couple of early game fights. They've lost the hero a couple of times. Just keep this pressure up, like you say. Keep Na'Vi guessing on what they're going to do next while this PA finds the next set of items.
He is chasing the Troll's courier. Troll has the recipe of the Battle Fury on the courier. It would be so huge if you would kill it, but Yuragi knows, so it's Courier is probably going to be fine.
I wonder if he goes for Spirit here. He's going to be stepping up Yuragi. Do they want to try and man mode this one out of the world? And Axe is going to be off the mark. He gets the courier! Oh, that's a big time. That's 2 minutes here, Trouble. It's not going to have that Battle Fury complete.
Dude. Yeah, he just returned all the hate that he received in that laning stage.
Yeah, kept his nerve there. That was really well done as well from the Slaughter to keep that nerve, not get sucked into the right-click duel by Yuragi.
Yeah, it's Yuragi also. There's the Blink Dagger reveal.
Chaotic offering. Ari with the double kill. That kill shot coming in clutch. And now the Shackle, it won't latch. So not going to be able to go for more, but they will get this tier 1 tower. They have Kaori's Warlock gone. They have the Focus Fire now as well for Ari. And they don't have a Fortify out. Avatos can kill Denton. Yep, the power shot. Seeing the strength of it. That level 4 power shot now. Kill shot every time you are low.
Those were actually very, very nice shards coming out from the Tusk, but he should have expected the power shot to be coming through and went for the snowball, but Ari very much on point. Those were some beautiful plays coming out from Na'Vi in the mid lane. So they lost their trolls. Oh, Battle Fury, but they got so much.
Power shot this time is going to be off the mark now. The Shadow Word is here. Morel's going to rotate in. It's a lot of damage. We have the Fatal Bond still going. Shouldn't be enough. Is it going to be enough to kill off Spit? No, it's no way. Not enough, surely. Yeah, it's not going to be up there with the Fatal Bond. One more right click from anyone. A power shot would have connected. It would have been his death, but he got himself outside of the range just in time, and Morel came up to make sure there was no one chasing him.
I still remember one of the one tournament game when I was playing a Warlock back in the day, and we got so close to killing the enemy offlaner. I used the Fatal Bonds onto the creeps, and I started attacking the creeps. And when we lost that game in the end, our coach is watching. Is like, he's laughing at me like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm trying to kill him."
I'm doing my best. Yeah. I imagine, yeah, that was in the days before the Warlock was that like big kill potential. You know, the power that he has now. But shot goes the way of Kaori here, so we are going to be seeing the upheaval, having the little mini golems, the little imps coming out here through the Twin Gate. They go, but the Wheel of Wonder, it is here. What damage can they do? It's only going to be onto the Scouts and Creep from the Beastmaster.
Finally, the troll has a Battle Fury, and some would say, okay, this is a crappy troll game, 16-minute Battle Fury, but he had it.
Yeah.
He had it 2.5 minutes ago. He just never could get it delivered.
Dire's middle tower
And
is
I mean,
under
even though he couldn't get it delivered here, he's only 2k behind the PA. You know, one good pick off on the PA. Uragi will be able to catch up, so it's not like he fell way behind on what the PA is doing in terms of farm. It's, you know, you were still keeping... Well, wasn't closing the gap, but, you know, he was still keeping that pace out with the Phantom Assassin. So Phantom Assassin, is it going to be the first item Satanic here for Phantom Assassin?
Dire's top
You
tower
mean the
is
third?
under attack.
Well,
As the Battle
yeah,
Fury and the SNY.
I don't count those. Like, first big item, you know? I know that Sanji actually cost 4k,
Dire's
but I
top
never really
tower
class it as
is
a
falling.
big item, you know, that high impact item.
Okay. If you say so, Rob, those don't count.
As Milan would say, the first red item.
Yeah, okay, sure. Let's I agree, that's fine. But Rabotyaki, the problem is they only have one hero, right?
Yeah.
Everybody here is gonna be working to enable the PA. That's why he's not even going for a BKB. Snowy understands that he has to be full on greed in this game to be able to win it, but it is so scary.
Oh, Avatar, so they're going to get the kill into Astigo. Astigo has that escape
Really
back, but
hate
still
him.
gets stunned up by the Chaotic Coffer. Not going to be able to get the kill, though, out onto the Ringmaster. And, okay,
I think he
so...
still wants to go.
Can Sanctity get on top of him now? Oh, the power shot! It stopped short of the Ringmaster. Like, just right in front of his face here. They're going to go for a little bit more. No, they're going to be able to get the Syrian chains from... Mirel slows this fight down just a little bit. He was shackled up, but there was no follow-up from that one. It looks like Snowy's going to be here now as well. The Crush comes out onto the Golem. They might at least be able to get... No, the Raw comes out. PA, what are you doing here, bud? Power shot. They're going to be able to get the kill. They get the Golem down, but boom. Secures PA, and once again, Snowy. A little bit of a mistake, and now the Rotovators comes through. Do they have the angle for the shackle? They do. Might be able to get this kill out. Snowball, it comes forward. They take down Ari, but they're going to be able to put the Tusk in so much danger on the side of
the troll got the aggro
Navi.
going into the base.
Okay, he doesn't follow up all the way.
I thought he wouldn't get it from that far off, but somehow the troll smelled the blood even even that far away.
But look at this, 18 minutes in, Navi, tier 2 tower in the top lane is down. You've got the Beastmaster coming in with the Thunderhide now as well. Onto this tier 2 tower in the mid lane. And you lost your PA once again. The Troll's going to be able to catch up in terms of the Troll. Is he just still in this fight? Does he want to go into this one? You're right, Spirit. He comes in now. Yeah, he doesn't have that ultimate. We'll see what he's going to do.
Big
The
avalanche.
Fatal Bonds comes through. The power shot once again. That Avatar's again doing the work here. And Spirit gets caught out. They get the lockdown. PA, does he want to get himself in onto this fight now? It looks like PA going to try and run himself out of this one. The Rotovators of the toss comes through. They have the control on Snowy. Can he get himself out? Like you say, no BKB. The Avalanche, the Escape Act is going to do a little bit of work, but they have that Raw coming up in the next couple of seconds, and I think if the Raw, the Axes come through in range to the toss, that Tiny will be able to get the kill. Sanctity, he takes down Snowy. They're going to be able to go for the Tusk once again. Oh, this was looking so even, and then the last 2 minutes happened, and all of a sudden Navi, 11k net worth up, going to have another tier 2 tower here too.
Dire's middle tower.
Sanctity played that fight beautifully. First, an avalanche onto 3 people with a toss, and they were all fatal bonded, so the damage output was insane. And then the way that he was moving around the trees, waiting for an opening to find the PA. First, standing in front of him, waiting to get Phantom struck. Another toss, and then he hides in the tree line. And as the Titanhide is running down the PA, he finds another way to blink and finish him off. And now they're looking towards the Ember.
Yeah, they're going to try and make a move here. He does that Remnant
You know where he
himself
is?
away to, but he's got no mana left. If they get on top of him, they don't have the gap closed. They know roughly, but can't close the gap in time. So the Tiny, they want... I mean, there's not even a tier 2 tower here on the bottom lane. They want to be taking down Spirit, who is going to be showing. Do they have the jump? Ari TPing down now as well. Spirit, he is going to be in danger. The Avalanche comes in. The toss at the very end of it there as well. And Yuragi just sits with the Crush. It will be used. Can he sprint himself away? The power shot's still doing a lot of damage here. Sanctity, one more right click from anybody. He gets the blink. Going to be able to get the blink to the high ground just barely here. This Slaughter keeps himself alive with that Essence Ring. Otherwise, he would have gone down.
I thought that power shot missed because the damage kind of looked delayed. I don't know what the idea is there. Dota got confused. It was like, do I kill this Slaughter or no?
Yeah, it could have been, if not for that Essence Ring, though. That would have been the death,
Yep.
it looks like.
Sure, for sure. Maybe without the Essence Ring would have been enough with just the troll right clicks coming through, but now into the pit they go, and Rabotyagi They aren't really that great at team fighting, right? Fighting around the pit with the fatal bonds, you would just get annihilated, all of you.
Yeah, this is probably the worst. Chaotic Offering comes out into the Habitats. So I don't even know if they knew this was happening, but they have to give it up to free. Yuragi, though, has that Aegis now, and we have all 3 tier 2 towers down. Or are they going to be able to get the catch out in time? Maybe just stop again. No BKB here for the PA. Look at this. Snowy. Going to be able to get himself away the power shot. They're going to get that little bit. Is it going to be enough here to get the catch out? The Chaotic Offering, he gets the jump out. But the Avalanche will still follow up the Rod of Atos. Even the neutral's going to get involved here with the mini stun. The power shot's off the mark, though. Snowy, he's wasting so much time. Do they have another way to stop this one? The toss, it comes through, and they will be able to get the kill.
Meanwhile, look at the other side.
Yeah, they're jumping in. Ringmaster, can he go? Yuragi's already got down Spirit. They take down Morale. All 3 cores for the side of Robert Yagi. They are down 21 minutes in. Avalanche coming through. The Tusk. Rod of Atos will be here. No snowball away for you, good sir. Do they just go high ground? Of course they do. They have an Aegis. They're going to try and force out some buybacks or take a tier 3 tower.
Up 3 buybacks being used. Robert Yagi. They don't want to let this one go that easily, but we still haven't crowned them. But Na'Vi are pretty much within arm's reach of winning the CCT Series 8.
Yeah, that is such a big net worth loss. Those 3 buybacks coming through for the side of Robert Yagi. That you can see that the troll 14,000 gold to the 11,000 now of the PA. The PA again, big first item. Gonna be the rapier. It looks like for Snow. He's throwing everything at this one, but not gonna be able to get there at all. He doesn't have the gold for it, having to use that buyback from the last fight.
I'll be going for a smoke. They know we win a fight now, and Robert Yagi are gonna GG out. We can end it.
If they get this kill onto Snowy, this is going to be really bad. The Rod of Atos, they take him down. Boom. He's still got that roar now as well. The snowball comes out onto the Beastmaster, but the Beastmaster turn around the shackles. I think this is going to be a GG, got to be called. 22 minutes in. I think the quickest game of the series. Na'Vi, that clean sweep going their way.
There was a good start to this game for Robert Yagi, but a couple of mistakes there from the PA in particular. That's when it shouldn't happen. And then the problem is that he was the only one having the game. You have one hero that is having a game, having a great time, that actually is enabled by everybody else, and you die a couple of times. It is a bummer. But also, you know, when you are the only hero that is having a good game, it kind of puts a little bit of a burden on you, and you feel like you have to join in on the fight. So Snowy, he had a little bit of pressure over him. He didn't know how to handle it, and unfortunately, Na'Vi just crushed them in this game.
Yeah, and you see that even Sanctity in the middle, you were talking about how it's a bad matchup for the Tiny up against the Ember Spirit, and Sanctity, knowing the limits of the heroes, he did take a lot of damage. He was being harassed, but knew when he could get in, get out, get that farm, and find himself. He didn't even die, Sanctity, on this Tiny. He was so good at keeping that momentum going in the mid lane. And Na'Vi, all across the board, like I say, some early aggression coming out from Rabbit Yagi. They just weathered it and got themselves into a great position. So Na'Vi going to be the CCT Season 8 champions. And any final thoughts on not only this match, but the event itself here, Hurry?
I mean, overall, the CCT was great. 8 tournaments, 400,000 gold to the gold. Yeah, you can see. I don't even work with real world currencies. $40,000 for the tier 2 scene, keeping it afloat. It really was an amazing a series of tournaments. I hope it does get renewed again, because I really did have a lot of fun, and we got a lot of champions of champions. There wasn't one team that really overtook it, and that is where I'm glad that teams are coming and going, switching things up. But also I'm glad that some of these teams like Quantum, Robot Yagi, Passion UA, Apple City Gang are getting better with every tournament.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that teams like Na'Vi, OG stepping up, into this one. We've had like Liga coming through in past events as well. We've had the more established teams coming through, because this is how you get the practice for the tier 2, these online tournament teams. This is how they get themselves better, playing up against these teams, being given the opportunity to step up more than once every 3 months when there's qualifiers, and being able to sit down and go through the tapes after that as well. It is really nice for the teams to be able to come through and compete up against some of the bigger names, the bigger teams, and sometimes get wins on the board as well. And again, I think for this series, Robert Yagi, even though they went down 3-0, they should still be proud of what they did, because last season they went out in group stages. This season they were mid in the groups, but they came through all the way to the grand finals. They took a game off Na'Vi in the upper bracket finals. They've had a really good run. On the other side, Na'Vi coming through as a a newishly formed team, new team members coming through and able to rock this one. And they look so strong all the way through. And hopefully that gives them a bit of a boost going through into the qualifiers to make it to the LAN events, and hopefully we see more of Na'Vi going forwards here as well.
Yeah, that's what we're all hoping for, right? But it is a bit of a bummer that a team wins this easily in a 3-0 fashion, but it is still sometimes being an undisputed champion is also a nice thing to have. Somebody that we know is by all means the best team here. There was nobody who was their equal, and hopefully that does transfer to some of their future tournaments as well.
Yeah, but for now, that is going to be it for the CCT. That is Season 8 wrapped up. Hopefully, we'll be back in the future sometime soon as well for more of the CCT. But for now, that is it. Thank you very much for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you sometime soon when we go live. But for now, bye-bye.